not really happy right now. He said he's gonna quit his job, but I'll change somehow. But I ain't gonna be here long. Not after it, I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, long. Ain't gonna be here long. My lungs are all filled with smoking THC. So every time I get to laughing, I start to cough and wheeze. Yes, I do. If I didn't have my cigarette, I'd kill someone. Then it wouldn't matter that the state of Texas won't let me get none. I ain't gonna be here long. Not after it, I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, long. Ain't gonna be here long. But my heart it sure ain't pumping like it used to do. Lord knows I bump a leg and it turns black and blue. Yes, it does. Now they say that it's unhealthy the way that I live. My liver's gone, my lungs are shot, and my heart's about to give. But I ain't gonna let that bother me, no. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna let that bother me, none, oh Lord. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna be here long. Not after it, I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. Ain't gonna be here long. Ain't gonna be here long. No, not after it, I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son.
And welcome to Fren Report Live. This is Fren Report Live number 24. And with me tonight, I have Mr. Bananapepper.
Hey!
I have Mr. Air Raid Siren.
Howdy, folks.
Mr. Steve Z.
What's happening?
Mr. Steve Z wants to know how your seat smells.
It was a rhetorical question.
Yeah. And to answer that question for us, there's Johnny Ketamine, a.k.a. K-Ho, a.k.a. Juke Nukem, a.k.a. Robert Down Syndrome Jr.
Howdy, folks. It's my air raid impression. Howdy, folks. Howdy, folks.
Hey, now.
Yeah, Steve was asking me how my seat smells, and he's a fucking pervert.
All right, context. So
I think it's a home. I think it's a home. No, there's no context. You fucking.
yeah,
I am
always
suspecting
context.
possible homosexual activity here.
so Juke Nukem says,
It's like the movie Paranormal Activity, but it's called a homosexual activity.
okay, so Juke Nukem, he says that he goes weeks without showering while he's driving.
I did not. I said sometimes I will go up to 7 days without showering.
And
It's just due to the fucking schedule of my fucking job.
Yeah. No, we heard what you said. You said you go weeks sometimes without showering.
I didn't say fucking
He said
weeks,
about a
you
week.
fucking
He
loser.
said,
You
actually,
fucking-
I was there. He said about a
Fucking
week.
J word.
He said about a week. So
Okay, so about a week without showering. And I rhetorically asked, well, what does your seat smell like? Because I imagine that it smells like fucking ass.
I imagine most seats would.
No,
Yeah.
no. Actually, I want to clear that up. My seat. Well, my seat probably does naturally smell like ass because it's a seat. But no, I wash my. Even if I don't shower for like 7 days, I'm gonna tell you something. I wash my ass. All right, because have you ever gone 7 days with an itchy? Have you ever had an itchy ass crack? Have you ever had an itchy ass crack? Yeah. Could you imagine going 7 fucking days with that shit?
So
You'd
what
go
do you
fucking
like?
insane. You'd lose your fucking mind.
You'd wear a
become
hole for
feral
your seat.
beast.
So what do you in the
Yeah.
truck stop bathroom? Just stick your ass in the sink and give it a.
Dude, it's just
Truck
people
stop
are walking
today.
by, washing their hands. Hey, how's it going? Good morning.
Hey,
Hey, it's
how's it
cold one
going?
out today, ain't it? It's cold one out.
So anyway, I think the solution is he should put air fresheners in his back pockets.
He could douche with
You fucking gamer
Lysol.
words, come on.
Baby powder. Baby powder.
a little baby Febreze enema. That would probably knock that right in the bud.
I'd probably give you colon cancer.
Yeah, probably actually.
So I was watching the
No,
I was watching the Michigan hearing today.
Yep.
It's remarkably the exact same story that we heard in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, like almost to a fucking T, you know?
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. And dude, they had so many people testifying. It had to be like every fucking Republican poll watcher in fucking Detroit, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, while that's going on, fucking Barr gets up there, old crypto Barr gets up there and is saying, "Oh yeah, there's no the DOJ has not uncovered any evidence of voter fraud."
Well, he didn't say that exactly.
Yeah, I'm digging it up right now
Okay.
so I can get his exact words.
It was probably no widespread voter fraud or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. It's interesting the way they word that.
Here, exact words. To date, we have not seen fraud on a scale that could have affected a different outcome in the election.
Okay.
There's
Which is
been one assertion that would be this is the one that pissed me off. Well, yeah, but he says, "Oh, there's like a few thousand here and a few thousand there and a few thousand there." So if you add it all up, I bet it would flip. But that's even beside the point. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of a cuck statement there, right there. Anyway,
Isn't that a few thousand here and a few thousand there and a few thousand here? Isn't that the definition of widespread voter fraud?
exactly.
It's not widespread voter fraud. What it is
But it's not
some minor
systemic. It's just a whole bunch of small ones all over the place.
minor cases that are spread widely.
Here's the
Completely
part that
different thing.
really pissed me off because he's talking about Sidney Powell's suit. He didn't say it specifically, but it's obvious. Like, there's been one assertion that would be systemic fraud, and that would be the claim that machines were programmed essentially to skew the election results. And the DHS and DOJ have looked into that, and so far we haven't seen anything to substantiate that. Now here's my problem with that. Because he's fucking lying, they didn't look into it. You know what I mean? Like, they specifically have not looked into that. We know for a fact because they haven't looked at the goddamn voting machines. Like, that's what we've been fucking in court about this whole fucking time, is to get them to look at the goddamn vote evidence and shit. You know what I mean?
It makes me think that, well, I mean, first of all, why is he talking to the Associated Press? That's that's the number one problem. The number two problem is that, you know, is the whole context issue, is that what went on in that entire interview, because we've seen Barr say in front of the American people that there's going to be a smooth transition to the next Trump administration. So My guess is that
That was Pompeo.
That was Pompeo. That wasn't Barr.
Oh, you're right. That was Pompeo.
Yeah. A little bit
Well,
different.
my guess is that there was a lot said in this interview, and they happened to pick something out that made Trump look stupid.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
And of course, the DOJ isn't the one doing the investigation. It's Trump's legal team.
Yeah. The DOJ hasn't looked into it at all. They've been trying to get him. I'm going to read Giuliani's reply to it, because as soon as that came out, within like an hour, he had a reply written here.
Oh,
and, and he basically the same take I had on it, but he words it nice and succinctly. Says, with all due respect to the Attorney General, there hasn't been any semblance of a Department of Justice investigation. We have gathered ample evidence of illegal voting in at least 6 states which they have not examined. We have many witnesses swearing under oath they saw crimes being committed in connection with voter fraud. As far as we know, not a single one has been interviewed by the DOJ. The Justice Department also hasn't audited any voting machines or used their subpoena powers to determine the truth. Nonetheless, we will continue our pursuit of the truth through the judicial system and state legislatures, and continue toward the Constitution's mandate in ensuring that every legal vote is counted and every illegal vote is not. Again, with the greatest respect to the Attorney General, his opinion appears to be without any knowledge or investigation of substantial irregularities and evidence of systemic fraud.
Yeah. And what a day for him to just pour cold water on the whole investigation.
Right. That's like, he's not stupid. I know, like, what he's saying is not really a lie. Well, except for the part, DHS and the DOJ looked into it. No, you didn't. You know what I mean? Like, would you fucking read what the fucking CNN said about it or something? Like, you know what I mean? I don't even think you watched the hearings to be saying that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, Barr must be on the take then, because it doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But he did do something today where he kind of bumped up Durham to where he's at the same level that Mueller was when he was working on the report, so that investigation will continue going. But he also said that it specifically narrowed it down to just within the FBI, which is kind of bullshit in my opinion, because we know Biden was involved in it, Hillary was involved in it, the CIA was involved with it, you know, so like Obama was involved with it. Why is it only focusing on the FBI, you know?
Yeah.
Every branch of the judicial system, or they should be going after it. CIA, the FBI, they should be like red flags everywhere, but it's not, and it's pretty sad to see.
But nothing's going to come from the FBI's investigation. And
it's not. I mean, nothing we don't already know.
And I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Trump got off on the Russia thing, because it's all of these alphabet agencies have been aligned against him since the beginning, and it doesn't surprise me that Barr is pouring cold water on the investigation on a day like this, which is where all these hearings are going on, because his family is deep state. They've always been. I mean, there's his father who was CIA. I'm pretty sure he was CIA.
He was closely connected to fucking
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. I actually have some. My buddy, it was just in a group chat, so I got to put it on screen, but I can read it to you. Actually, we're going to be going through one of his threads a little bit later. But where is it? Let me find it.
I'm pretty sure that they were friends. Bill Barr and Jeffrey Epstein were friends prior to Bill Barr's dad hiring Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it was on Bill Barr's request that his dad hire him.
Who's Barr's dad? Who's his dad?
He was a university professor and a CIA.
I was about to get into that.
Asset.
That's what I was about to go into, but I have to get this pulled up, and I gotta find it. There it is. So Barr went to Horace Mann, which is Macro thinks it's a spook school. Barr was likely a CIA asset since 1968. Horace Mann had an abuse scandal going on for over 4 decades. Over 20 faculty members were implicated. Horace Mann headmaster for much of the abuse was Skull and Bones member Inky Clark. Clark's Yale roommate was Johann Sommery, son of a Rothschild banking family. Sommery also went on to be a serial abuser at the Horace Mann School for decades. Horace Mann has many influential grads in culture, CIA, and politics. Barr's father, also Horace Mann grad, hired Epstein, despite his being a college dropout, to Harvard, wasn't it? So, yeah, was it Harvard or was it Columbia? It might have been Columbia. The Barr's father hired Epstein without a degree to be a professor at.
Totally legit.
Yeah. This hiring should have been impossible at Dalton. Both Barrs attended Horace Mann. The elder was in the secret society, the Philolexians. I might have to dig into that one. Barr's family converted to Catholicism. He believes they are Ukrainian Jews. Man, like Roseanne Barr, so there's the same last name. She's very Jewish, you know.
Did you see my tweet?
I
put a picture of her commenting about
Barr.
Yeah.
Who is this Barr fellow? Why is he wearing lipstick?
It's just a coincidence.
They live near Columbia University. Horace Mann was originally part of Columbia University Teachers College. St. John the Divine Cathedral was also right in that neighborhood. So, he's got a great thread on St. John, too, but we're going to go over the Harvard one tonight, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, so there's no good reason to trust Bill Barr. And he's given us nothing. He's had that position for 2 years now?
Yeah.
So does he have to get appointed, or can Trump just fire him and get somebody else, or does it have to be an appointee made or something?
I believe Trump both appoints him and has the ability to fire him.
He definitely has the ability after he passed that executive order. What, in October, right before the election, where he can fire pretty much anybody in the DOJ or any of them. He's been using the hell out of it. Would not be surprised if he is no longer around soon.
Yeah. I thought he was Why does everyone keep turning their backs on Trump? Like, what the fuck?
It's like a cabal, man. Like they've all been paid. They're all big fans of neocons, right? Like that's like the whole Federalist Society thing and how they appoint a lot of these people.
Remember when we all thought General Mattis was the most based fucking Secretary of Defense ever? And then look what he fucking does. He just fucking turns his back on Trump, gets fired, and just doubles down on his fucking bullshit.
Right.
God damn.
Seems to be a common theme.
Well, even if he's going after him, why isn't Trump just getting tigers in place? Like, he doesn't have a lot of time left. He's got to start acting like really quick and just getting rid of these people and getting people who are loyal and like, you know, gonna tear people apart.
Exactly. Like he needs to get shit fucking going.
I think that firing Bill Barr during the court, during this whole legal process, would dominate the headlines for the next month. I mean, it's not like firing the COVID guy. Like this is Bill Barr is a big whale, and not only that, he's in the Justice Department, so it's going to look like Trump's trying to put somebody in that's going to give him like a quid pro quo or something like that.
Yeah. Well, apparently, being a big whale runs in the Barr family. Looking at Roseanne.
Well, he's pretty much damned if you do, damned if you don't. At this point, like, it doesn't matter how the media twists it; they always twist it to their favor. So it doesn't really matter what he does.
That is true.
That was the biggest way he shot himself in the foot this whole time. Really, is by giving a shit with it, you know, trying to do it in a way the media couldn't spin it. You know what I mean? Because like,
well, I'm saying that like beyond the media, if he fired Bill Barr, he might have to face legal challenges at this point because of the conflict of interest of replacing the Department of Justice during his legal proceedings.
Yeah, but they're not involved in it, are they? No. Like, barely. Most of all these lawsuits are all independent, either citizen lawsuits, or they're part of a lawyer team. They're not really representing the federal government.
Yeah, like there's Giuliani and Ellis representing Trump, the Trump campaign directly. They've filed some lawsuits. Sidney Powell did hers on her own. None of them involved the DOJ or DHS at all, so they haven't. Oh. They've been trying to get him to look into it. They won't, and then Barr says that shit, you know.
Yeah, get Barr the fuck out of there. He's useless.
Right. Well, the Durham probe should have been fucking over a long time ago, you know.
Just saw something interesting on my feed from Chuck Calesto, a blue check mark, not familiar with him, but he claims that Attorney Lynn Wood suggests President Trump declare martial law and hold a new election.
Yeah.
Did she actually say that?
What was that? Say it again.
That wouldn't surprise me. Lynn Wood is pretty reactionary. This whole thing.
Yeah. It says Lynn Wood suggests, if you didn't hear that, Walrus, Lynn Wood suggests President Trump declare martial law to hold a new election.
Huh.
Lynn Wood is pretty much on the same level as Sidney Powell. Just like if you look at the Twitter feed, it's just like it's borderline QAnon with the level of rhetoric coming out of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why the Trump team walked away from them, because any judge that looks at that sort of stuff, they're just going to be like, no, we dismiss it. You have to come with some factual evidence. I don't know if you guys watch Robert Barnes' live streams, but there's some of the best content you can watch right now, and it cuts through all the QAnon BS, and it cuts through all of that. Like basically, most of these judges are all lefties. And they're all on the take. So basically, as a lawyer, you have to present the judge something that he can't dismiss, or will make him look like a fool in the history books 100 years down the road. So he can't say no. That's what you have to do. Like the whole Seidel servers in Germany, they don't give a shit about that. But if you present it like we're going to concentrate on signature matches and mail-in ballots. Yeah. That's something that the judge can't fucking say no to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got to put it in a way that if the judge does say no, that it's going straight to the next level.
Right.
Appealed to the higher court.
Right, and that's why they're focusing on or they're leading with constitutionality issues, like equal protection and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it sounds really boring, and it's easy for the media to, oh, they don't have anything, and this is frivolous and blah 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 because it looks boring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're clearly going to try to do what they think is going to be effective.
Mm-hmm. John Nada, they live, just subscribe, monthly subscriber on DLive. So thank you for subscribing.
Wow,
John Nada,
second subscriber.
Welcome to the we're moving up in the world.
Hey.
And I just forgot our first subscriber, Hey Joggers, is non-melanated from CY Tube. So, what's up, buddy? It's in the pipes.
I want to put a shout there for Patreon. Hey, what's going on, Patreon?
Yeah,
sorry,
what's
what
up,
happened
Patreon,
today,
brother?
man? We're here for you, brother.
And Donkashay just joined the chat too, and Elliot. We got a lot of people in the chats today, and it's all on DLive because not a single soul has typed anything in YouTube tonight. That's rare.
Oh wow, yeah. I didn't even notice that.
That's a rarity.
Because of the it comes up on my screen in green text. It's hard to read it on the DLive there, so I tend to not pay attention to it. And I'm always like, oh, somebody said something. I'm like, oh shit. And yeah, there's nothing. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, I always have the DLive and the YouTube open next to each other, but I keep it on the DLive. And then I'll see if somebody says something in YouTube, but I usually have to click over to actually read it.
Yeah.
Well,
we got to give Tuber a shout out too, even though he just called us a bunch of fags.
Jelly.
As my connection started fucking up
again,
so
just joined too, so give a shout outs to everybody tonight.
We got a good crowd tonight, eh? We got the best crowd.
30 people
call me up and tell me how great our crowd is. They just tell me, Ray, do you guys have the best crowd?
We got the best crowd.
Wow, Michigan.
Other crowds are not sending their best. Our crowds are.
I'm really proud of this community.
Oh, hey Joggers, donated a diamond. Said all the cool kids are on DLive. They're all in our chat right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, whether YouTube or DLive, they're all cool.
Right.
But DLives are
absolutely.
cooler.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if anybody's watching on YouTube. There is a couple people watching, but not many.
No, DLive's where it's at because people actually,
people
interact and they give you, like, I know it's not much currency, but, like 1,000 of those things is probably $3 or whatever. It's something.
Well,
and then you get to interact with it.
I do have the Streamlabs set up, so if people did donate through that, with streamlabs.com/FrenReport/V2 is the better one, but you can just do /FrenReport too. And then if you send a tip, it would read it out, your little message in text-to-speech and all that shit. But people haven't been using that, so.
The Michigan hearing is finally trending on Twitter.
How long is that going to last?
I don't know, but it had to get past Elliot Page and Bill Barr. So,
yeah, to make it to the trend, they had a lot of people fucking testifying at that thing.
Yeah,
like
they've had a lot of people testifying at each one of these things. So
yeah, I watched it for a couple of hours and then fucking.
6 precincts in Michigan recorded voter turnout at 120%, and 1 reported at 721%.
Completely normal.
721%.
Sorry, what was this?
Jesus Christ.
This is according to Larry Elder. 6 precincts recorded voter turnout at 120%, and 1 reported at 721%. Michigan hearing.
There's nothing suspicious about that at all.
Yeah. Yet there's
All the
no
time.
evidence. There's no evidence.
Yeah, they say usually 80% turnout is a sure sign of fucking voter fraud.
Yeah, that's pretty high. when you think about it.
720? That's a bit high, yeah. But there's no evidence, guys. No evidence at all.
The only time 720 is good is if it's skateboarding.
You see, what infuriates me, and I know it's this old, quit, you're trying to play by the rules and you want, honesty, and the enemy doesn't give a fuck about that and all this. But if Donald Trump had won this election in the initial count, like there was no shenanigans, and he was up by like a huge margin, and the left called for a recount, what would Donald Trump have said? Donald Trump would have said, "I've won, but you want to recount and go right the fuck ahead." In fact, let's do it. Let's go at this once and for all. Let's verify this. We'll have, people right there, and we'll have cameras on. We'll do this in front of live television, and everyone can see exactly every single vote.
Yep.
Right?
Well, that's the whole point of going through a blockchain, and that's what they got to do in the next election, or at least if they do, if everything falls apart and whatever, Trump loses. Basically, that's what they got to do. They got to concentrate on fortifying the elections, if that'll ever happen. And basically, Trump can't, if it's certified and whatever, Joe Biden gets in and they find some other evidence after the fact, they can't, Trump can't go back to the presidency. He's got to run in 2024. So the best thing that we can do right now is to fortify a movement, move away from the GOP, and start a movement that's more than the sum of its parts right now. It'll be 100 times stronger in 2024. That's what if the worst thing that happens, don't get blackpilled. Just concentrate on that.
Larry Elder's sharing a lot of stuff. He also says that there's a lawsuit going on in Michigan that Michigan illegally counted or ignored 500,000 ballots.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Well, that's not surprising at all, once again.
Yeah.
That's what's so fucking sad about the whole thing. And so irritating about it is it's so, it's so blatant, it's so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should believe that there's anything, legitimate about the results.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys were watching the counts as they were coming in.
Yeah.
And we all went to sleep on the night of. We were so far ahead in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. Actually, at the time, the only one I was worried about was Georgia, because we were so far ahead, and it was with 80% reporting, and the majority of the precincts remaining, Trump had leads in, and then just something happened, and then all of a sudden, Michigan flipped, Wisconsin flipped, all in a matter of just minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, they had all did it at the same time. If you've seen who was it? Lynn Wood, I think, posted the screen caps of the way when the results were coming in and stuff, and it would show plotted out, and the Biden and Trump lines were exactly the same. Every time there was a dip in Trump, there was a dip in Biden. Every time there was a spike in Trump, a spike in Biden. Followed each other really closely. And it was fucking every time, for every Trump vote, there was 1.25 fucking Biden votes, which is, they should be completely different.
It's all proof of algorithm, really.
Yeah.
In Kenosha alone, Trump went from plus 22 to plus 3. It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. It doesn't even make sense either.
No,
that was the moment. when Wisconsin flipped, that was the moment when I realized that something was going terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I saw, I can't remember which state it was in now. It was getting pretty late, and Trump was ahead, and the Republican House and Senate were ahead. And then all of a sudden, it went boom, Biden's ahead, and nothing else changed.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? Like,
sorry, I'm just thinking they like had an algorithm that followed Trump, and you can see it, the two lines, and then all of a sudden when they realized that they were losing bad, then they had to cheat really hard, and then they just went back to the same algorithm after that would narrowly keep Biden ahead.
Yeah, but you could see the dump that was only Biden, and it wasn't any of the Senate seats or the House seats.
Oh yeah, there was no down ticket. It's hilarious for anybody to think this is a legitimate election.
Yeah. Like, there's only two scenarios where that adds up. The math adds up on that, and one is they had whatever it was, 60,000 or 30,000 votes for Biden come in, where the people only voted on the presidential ticket, as in they just voted Biden, they didn't care about anything else. Or the other option is, well, I guess there's a third one I'll get to in a second here. The other option is that they end up with whatever it was, 30,000 votes as an example. We'll just say, I can't remember what the numbers were, 30,000 votes that all were for Biden, but all the House and Senate votes ended up in the exact same distribution that was already there.
Yeah.
And if you can imagine 30,000 people coming in and all voting Biden and miraculously voting in the exact same frequency for the other parts of the ticket.
It's all machine work.
Yeah, it's literally impossible. There's no way there couldn't have been any difference in that. And of course, the third one is obviously they cheated, which is,
well, you can just look at all the counties that Biden won. What did he win? Like 348 or 400 something. It's like the lowest in history, but he got the most votes in history. Wow.
In history,
he underperformed. He underperformed Hillary by like a whole lot, but yet somehow, like as far as like how many counties he won and shit, but somehow got the most votes in history.
Yeah,
enough to beat the other guy with the most votes in history, because Trump also got the most votes in history, other than Biden.
And I did some math the other day. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'd have to go back and look it up. But it was something like there was over a 19% increase in votes between 2016 and 2020.
Like, just from a mathematical and statistical standpoint, this is like a physicist looking at 9/11 or an architect. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay. Think about these things though. Like you said, Biden, they claim Biden had more votes than anybody in the history of an American election. But here's the thing: except for Biden, what they claim Biden got, Trump did too.
Yeah,
Trump got more votes.
Trump's got the most votes in history
ever.
Except for Biden.
Yeah.
Like, I know this is a shit. I know it's a polarizing election, but come on, like
Jesus,
seriously?
yeah.
I like I said, I did the math because Ramsey Paul had posted some black pill like he lost type shit, and I was like, let's just think about this for a second. What do you think is more likely to happen at this point in time in an American election? That they have a 20% increase in voter turnout, and both candidates get more votes than anybody in the history of American elections, or there was some sort of fraud. And they're admitting that there were thousands of votes switched and all this shit already, and all they're doing is saying, oh, well, it's not widespread voter fraud. There's just glitches, and these are just, oh yeah, we found this one. See, there's nothing to look at. So they're saying that there were shenanigans going on, and you have these crazy numbers. And how could anybody sit there and go, this isn't fraud? If somebody wants to sit there and go, this won't get proven because they're going to manage to sneak out all the information and everybody's against Trump and you could blackpill and say he's going to lose it or whatever, fine, that's your opinion. But don't fucking sit there and tell me that you believe it was a legitimate fucking election.
The problem is the media is running defense for them. Without the media, it is a house of cards, by the way. It would just fall apart.
Oh no, absolutely.
And that's what everyone's got to realize. This is literally a house of cards. Like, it's that simple. And the more people wake up and that, but it's just the media. I wish Trump could just be like, like the old days and just pull a lever and be like, you guys are fucking done. But he's got his ties to Zionism and whatnot too. So I don't know how involved he is in this, or I don't know how you guys feel about that kind of statement, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you shut down Facebook, all social media platforms, or enforce something, and all of the news networks, like, I don't know, like 100 years ago, this would have been a completely plausible thing for a president to do, just to like unplug it and just be like, no, like this is horse shit. Yeah. Like this is completely out of. It's at the point where it's out of control to the point where it's I don't know, suicidal almost. Like it's turning society into this. It's dividing us to the point where it's almost civil war. Even in Canada, it's the same feeling. It's like East versus West here, or it's still a left right paradigm, but it's the same horseshit. And we're at the point where the same people just want a new president or prime minister, and the rest of the people are like, yay for prime minister retard. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I think the creation of the 24-hour news cycle in the 1980s left a giant window wide open for corruption to just sneak right in, and it did. Mm-hmm. And so now, because of the 24-hour news cycle being created, this is what it's led to.
I think it's because the Jews control our media, and they want.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. They created a 24-hour news cycle, and it all just went downhill from there.
It's worse than that, because they've created basically two completely different worlds of news. Yep. So you've got one group that only reads one news and refuses to read the other, and one group that is forced to hear everything, but never gets listened to when they speak. Yeah. So it's destabilized the country to the point where nobody has any idea how to get their point across. Yeah. And so even if Trump wins in court, even if the CNN tapes expose CNN, it doesn't matter, because the other side is never going to hear it for what it is.
There's still a significant portion of the population that actually thinks there was Russian collusion, like in 2016. It's ridiculous. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How is this even possible?
Yeah. There's no center.
Yeah.
It's all an echo chamber.
Which is crazy, because before Obama's where it started polarizing a lot. Before that...
Oh, no, that's not... I would say that it started before Obama, because remember, even at the end of the Bush presidency, people were complaining about the polarization of America.
Yeah, because they had the Fox News thing going on that was pushing the neocon shit. And...
I get that. I'm with Jacob on this one. I think, I don't know. For me personally, it was after 2010, somewhere around there. Like when the Wall Street thing happened. I forget what it's called there. Occupy Wall Street, and then everything started to get uber PC and all this censorship started to come in, and people like Gavin McGinnis were getting axed and blah blah blah, so on and so forth down the line. Not that I care about Gavin, but you know.
And then in
he's all
fact,
right,
like
but
2010 is a perfect example because there was Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Party movement were both going strong, which kind of Occupy Wall Street was kind of proto Antifa in a way, or what we have.
Yeah, they didn't have to go.
BLM.
They didn't have to go that way. They were pushed that way.
Oh, I know. And the Tea Party was kind of the proto alt right in a way, you know.
Yeah.
No, more proto Q, I think, but
maybe it's just because of my age, but I felt like this stuff really started to ramp up during Bill Clinton's presidency, and then during the Bush administration, that's when the country just completely split in two.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I say the Tea Party movement was kind of more proto alt right is because lots of us, I kind of respected what the Tea Party had to say, and it made a lot of sense to me, but I wasn't like Tea Party, blah blah blah. But then there was the Ron Paul libertarians were catching, which was pretty much a direct descendant off the Tea Party movement, and then lots of us, that's how we started getting into things.
The Ron.
I like that guy, Ron Paul. He's awesome.
The Ron Paul running for and getting shut out of the GOP primaries. I think that kind of woke up a lot of people, like big time.
Yeah,
there were
for sure.
I was watching from Canada, but I'm seeing these rallies with. It was like a proto-Trump thing.
Yep.
Rallies with thousands of people coming to see Ron Paul, and then who's he running against? Was it Mitt or?
I think it was Mitt.
Romney. Yeah, it was Romney.
Yeah. And there's like 100 people at a Mitt Romney rally.
Yeah. But there would have been more people, and he was running against Obama. Well, no, because he was running for the Republican.
Yeah, for the ticket.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't doing independent, but
I think if Ron Paul had won the primary, I think he would have won the election.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
I think
he was the only one speaking truth, like Trump does. You know what I mean? He just lays it out, and this is the way it is, and there's no bullshit behind what he's saying.
He was kind of the Republican version of Bernie Sanders, you know.
Yeah.
Where he wasn't really a Republican, but he was running under the Republican ticket, and
he had
a lot of popular support, especially from the younger people and stuff. And
he's a smart fucking guy too. And he seems, anyways. I don't know the guy, but he seems way more honest than the Sanders, right?
I mean, their policies couldn't be more polar opposites, but
but like. I'm not talking about their policies per se, but I'm talking about their person. I think Sanders. I mean, how can you be a communist and be honest? You have to kind of lie to trick people, right?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Exactly. Communist with what? 5 vacation houses?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Where Ron Paul says, "I'm a successful doctor," and I think people like me shouldn't be taxed, and people like you shouldn't be taxed, and this type of shit, right? Like.
And you also have to remember that Ron Paul was a pioneer in grabbing him by the pussy.
Back in 48.
Yeah, the original pussy grabber.
Well, and what they really liked about him was that he wasn't even a politician. He was a doctor. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, he talked to people like normal.
Yeah.
He didn't talk to people like they were stupid or, you know what I mean? There's a lot of appeal behind that for everyday people. So,
big time.
Especially when you had Bushes before that and, Clinton, and it was just like a factory of just ultra fake people.
Exactly. Especially who it was Obama and Mitt Romney, like those are 2 of the fucking fakest people ever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then you had Ron Paul in there. You know what I mean? He's one of the realest people.
Yeah.
So,
he was the one who got me into American politics back then, because before I really didn't care so much.
Well, yeah, and like I was saying before, it was really during Obama, and I think actually Ron Paul had a lot to do with it. And but like most people were in the middle, you know, and that's why like the like George W. ran on what do you call it? Compassionate conservatism, trying to hit the middle. You know what I mean? And who else? No, I mean, they were all like shooting for the middle ground. You know what I mean? Because that's where most people were. Now that's like there is no middle. You know?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We've been forced to. You got to take a side.
And you know, I was saying that the country really divided under Bush, but I think the rise of the extreme left and the extreme right to the point where I mean, it's almost two different countries was really during Obama, because you had the censoring of Ron Paul on one side, and then on the other side you had Barack Obama, who ran as a radical progressive, behaving like a neoliberal. Yeah. And he wasn't doing what he said he was going to do. You know, the wars never stopped. Guantanamo never closed.
Yeah.
And Obamacare turned out to be just as expensive as private health care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was just it drove people to the right that voted Democrat for Obama, and it drove people to the left that didn't get what they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of media manipulation going on to kind of exacerbate that. And all the, I mean, like, I haven't seen race relations as bad in the United States since like the Rodney King shit, dude. From when Obama showed up.
Oh yeah, 2012. With the stuff in was it St. Louis? Ferguson?
Yeah, the fucking Michael Brown shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but think about the Trayvon Martin thing with the if I had a son, he would look like.
Yeah, that's where it started.
If my husband Michael had a son.
Yeah.
Yo, fuck that. George Zimmerman's a fucking hero. Fuck what everyone says. He's a fucking hero.
I think everybody
George
agrees
Zimmerman. George Zimmerman.
I don't know if I'd go so far as to call him a hero, but I don't think he did anything wrong.
No, you know. He's a good boy.
I'm calling him a hero just to own the libs.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think you're talking to any libs on this chat.
No, but you know what? You know what? He protected himself in a dangerous situation, and then he fought back legally and won. So good for him.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that whole Obama era was the cultural, I don't know, dichotomy happened there, where it went like you had the left pulling more, and then you had to pick a side. Like, it was more of a cultural division at that point compared to like Bush era stuff. Like, Bush era stuff was more like people who were tired of, like fucking bombing people all the time, which is a pretty normal response to that kind of thing, because we were in that whole neocon era. Go ahead.
If it wasn't for the 9/11 shit, Bush would have gone down as a kind of middle of the road presidency, and a guy who made a lot of jokes, or was good for a lot of humor and memes and shit. That what happened during his presidency was the traumatic experience that started the rift. So I'm agreeing with whoever had said that it started with who said that? Somebody said that it started with the Bush.
Steve did. Steve.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I agree with you. Your high IQ shows itself once again, sir.
I think Steve also said
Big
that
brain moment.
Obama ran as a radical and governed as a neoliberal.
Yeah.
And I would agree in terms of matters of economics, that was absolutely true. But if you look at, the whole Trayvon would have been my son thing, the interesting thing about that, at least to me, at least it's always been interesting to me, is that he didn't have to do that because he had already secured re-election. Trayvon Martin case was like in 2013, I want to say 2013, 2014, sometime around then.
And, it was like 2014, I think.
Okay, and he really kind of opened up a Pandora's box. It all really peaked, at least in his presidency. I mean, obviously, it got substantially worse under Trump this past summer, but it peaked under his presidency with the Dallas shooting, which I think happened in 2015, 2016. And that was really bad. And BLM pretty much died until this summer after that. And in my opinion, the Dallas shooting is really one of the things that cost Hillary the election. Yeah. And I mean, Obama did govern as a neoliberal in terms of economics, but I think in terms of like the social issues and the cultural issues, he kind of governed as a bit of a black radical, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Well, and that's when they really started to fucking polarize a lot more. Because, Bush played a big role, especially because people were really against the Iraq war and shit, And, which is funny because that was supposed to be the left then, and the left is all pro-war now, so.
Yeah. It's amazing how they can be led by the nose and never even fucking, second guess it. Not even once.
Led by the nose.
Oh, hold on. Sticker. There we go. Yeah. Got it in the chat.
There you go.
But no, seriously, the same fucking people who were crying about too many wars and all this shit fucking 20 years ago are calling for fucking escalation of wars now.
Yeah.
Those are the sheep. They follow the orders.
Dick Cheney, for God's sakes, is going to be the Secretary of Defense, supposedly.
Yeah, that's very telling for one thing. And Mitt Romney was backing Biden and all that shit. You know what else I think is really telling is that fucking Richard Spencer was backing Biden.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched that Baked Alaska documentary that Porcelain did. I watched that today. We were talking about it last night. I think it was while the stream was down, so. But I recommend it for sure. It's really interesting. Baked Alaska, he almost seems like a really bad counterintelligence guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's very not good. Either that or he's a total idiot. Well, he's an idiot either way.
Well, what's the context of the documentary? I just saw a couple of his live streams on YouTube, but I'm not super familiar with the guy, so.
It covers his whole career pretty much, or at least up until it covers it up to about when he did the whole after Christchurch and he did the fucking whole fucking thing about they're fucking alt-right, blah blah blah,
Well, was he a journalist before he did his live streams, or what was
he worked for BuzzFeed before he started doing?
Oh God!
Yeah.
Red flag right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I know Baked Alaska was at Charlottesville.
Yeah, he was definitely there. I mean, because that was that whole thing was like, if you look at almost all the people that were really putting it on, they all kind of seem like counterintelligence. Baked seems like the biggest idiot among them. You know what I mean?
Charlottesville seems like a honeypot looking back now.
Yeah. Because, fucking, you look at, Richard Spencer, he looks like somebody the IDF would fund so they have, a bad guy to point to.
Yeah.
Same with Stryker,
Of course, there's that picture with Spencer and Laura Bush.
Right. And like looking at like Milo and shit, you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, what the hell ever happened to that fucking guy?
He turned state's evidence. He's a federal informant. He like publicly admitted it.
Yeah.
This is not me being, a conspiracy theorist. He publicly admitted it.
Really? Holy shit.
He did an Instagram post where he held up a removable or like portable hard drive, and he just said like this is the document or
I have information on everybody in the alt right and da 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 da, and I'll release all this information and blah 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 blah. And then what are they gonna put out there? Oh, that fucking like Baked Alaska's a fucking meth head. Oh yeah, we didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Well, I thought it was kind of funny just for like the meme value. He was allegedly the one that released the tape of Spencer after Charlottesville spurging out and saying like, my ancestors own these fucking people. This is not how this is supposed to happen. Like, just being a total retard.
Right. Which fucking... I mean, by the time we put it out there, I don't think anybody really listens to Richard Spencer anymore anyway. But
he was already fucking... Now, the thing is, some of the shit he said would have been funny and would have been kind of based, but the fact that he's such a spurg made it, like, gay and retarded.
Well, that's kind of what they do out there. So they'll put some stuff that makes sense, and you're like, oh, yeah, I agree with that. But then it's coming out of Richard Spencer is doing all kind of other bullshit. So then anytime anybody else says it, they're like, oh, that's a Richard Spencer talking point. You're in the alt-right. You're one of those alt-right neo-Nazis,
Saying Octoroon is kind of funny. Just because it's so archaic and ridiculous. It's such a stupid thing to say. So I find that kind of funny. But coming out of him on an actual, like, he's lost his control over his emotions and he's spurging out and he actually says that. Like, it's...
Right.
Like, this is the real Richard Spencer you're hearing right here, boys. These octoroons! My family used to own them! What the hell? Fuck, dude.
Yeah, and also it's like Rising Rival. I don't know if he was talking about Milo or Spencer, but it could very well apply to both. And Spencer just gives off major homosexual vibes.
Yeah.
Like, and the documentary was good because, like, the people that I do like... that they mentioned, the very few that I do like Worski, they actually came out looking good in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had like Worski trolling fucking Baked on fucking all the time on his show and shit. It was funny. But then all the more on Milo and Richard Spencer and fucking Baked Alaska and all them jackasses. Okay, Laura Loomer, all them idiots came out looking like the idiots they are,
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. Whatever happened to Laura Loomer? I mean, I know she had a baby, but
God, she was trying to run for Congress, but she lost.
Oh, I'm sorry, Laura Loomer.
You were thinking about Laura Southern?
Yep, exactly.
She started popping up, and now she's like dissident middle or something, like dissident centrist or some bullshit, and trying to like downplay her previous roles in the pro-white stuff, Ew. Don Kasha said, Laura Loomer had a nude channel. That just kind of upset my stomach a little bit.
That's fucking gross.
I thought that was the one with the really big tits. Not the white, not AOC, but isn't she the one who like got naked for COVID or some shit like that? And like everyone was like talking about how big her tits were. Yeah.
God, I hope not.
Who's the one I'm thinking of? Who's the one I'm fucking thinking of?
Got naked for
I can't remember now. Or some shit. There was like a thing where like a bunch of people were getting naked for something.
Oh, so you're thinking Chelsea Handler and Sarah Silverman got naked for the election to tell people to vote.
Oh,
yeah, I think those are the ones you were talking about.
Chelsea Handler's the one that got naked? Oh,
They've both got like large breasts, although like they're both getting rapidly droopier as the months and months go on.
Oh, Bigger Neater over on YouTube says Loomer lost by a nose. Oh God, can we stop talking about fucking Amy Schumer and fucking all these ugly bitches naked, please?
I like how you made that joke and immediately I got disconnected from the call.
Oh.
Oh, the worst broad that got naked was Lena Dunham.
Oh,
God.
You know.
Oh God.
Like with Lena Dunham,
hell. That's like hell.
With Lena Dunham, like you can, like, you got to know, or you got to think that she knows that she's not attractive, and it's like she's just trolling us.
She knows.
Oh, she knows.
She's just doing it to do it.
Like Sarah Silverman thinks she's still attractive, but she had,
You know what? I'm gonna say she's not super attractive, but she's definitely more attractive than most of them.
She was. She was a while back, not anymore.
Oh, she was fucking hot when she was younger, dude.
Even now, she's a 10 compared to Amy Schumer.
Well,
she's a pig.
I mean, all I'm saying is if I had the opportunity, I probably would hit it.
A mud pie tastes better than a shit sandwich. You know what I mean? But that's.
I'd probably fuck anything that walks on two legs, to be honest.
That movie where she gets punched in the face and like her nose breaks. That's a great
really?
scene.
Which one, Amy Schumer?
That's fucking.
No, Sarah Silverman.
Oh, Sarah Silverman.
It's like in the scene, she's just being like a loud yenta. And she's just being a bitch and like talking shit to this one guy, and he just like calls off and smacks her right in the face. I mean, it's a movie, but it's still nice to see.
Yeah, Silverman didn't age very well for sure.
No.
She's starting
physically or
physically and in general all around.
She's like 50 something, right?
Yeah, I was referring to physically though. She's looking like starting to look like she's gonna be fucking throwing Hansel and Gretel in the oven anytime soon. So
Black Brad Pitt said that. That's right. Black Brad Pitt says the movie was Way of the Gun.
Way of the Gun.
Feel free to just Google Way of the Gun. Sarah Silverman punched. It's a nice thing to see.
Oh yeah. I'm not reading that, Brad. Oh, that would be a good one to have when I get a soundboard, so I can put the little sample on there. But
So, are we going to talk about Elliot Page?
Well, I guess we could.
It's very sad. I was sad to hear that she got raped by Harvey Weinstein.
I was unsurprised.
Ellen Page?
No,
yeah.
it's Elliot now.
Bigot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Elliot.
Transphobe.
Now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the news.
Yeah.
I was off trying to eat my dinner here, and now I'm watching Sarah Silverman get punched over and over and over again. This is amazing.
Nice. But that's pretty satisfying, actually.
Yeah, it is. I'm muting up again for a minute.
Yeah. Her name's Elliot now, and she's got the hairline of E.T.
Yeah.
Yeah, she suddenly got a 5 head, that's for sure.
And now we're all just supposed to act like what an amazing thing this is and how great it is.
She's stunning and brave.
Stunning and brave. And
wasn't she already a lesbian to begin with or something?
Yep.
Yeah. She came out on the Ellen show. So brave.
Yeah.
So brave.
And then she went down on the Ellen show.
But being a lesbian didn't do it. She wasn't happy, so now she's going to be a dude.
The turfs will never recover.
Yeah, and this probably won't make her happy. So the next step is she's going to start advocating for child transitions because she wasn't able to do it at an early enough age.
Yeah.
So now everybody needs to start putting their children in transitional therapy before they hit puberty, because otherwise they're going to end up like poor Elliot Page.
I was telling Brick that he might have a shot now because a trans man and a femme boy is probably a perfect match. So.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Right.
And it's just,
Steve, I hope...
Wait a minute. That gives me an idea. I have a question. So what if a trans man becomes a femboy? Is it still gay to have sex with them? Because technically they still have a vagina, right?
No. Well, wait. I don't know.
Would it
I'm
still
not
be
doing
gay?
it.
No.
I mean, it frankly, if she stays at like her current appearance, and I don't think she's all.
Yeah, if the trans man still looks mostly like a chick, like doesn't look like.
I would say no.
We're not talking Buck Angel. I'm not talking like Buck Angel shit. I'm talking like still obviously a chick that just acts like a dude.
I would say no. I wouldn't say it's gay. I would say it's insane to put your cock in a woman that insane.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just me.
I don't know, man. The crazy chicks always have the best pussy for some
I would
reason.
say with that 5 head she's got now, you could staple a.
I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about fucking Ellen Page. No one wants to fuck Ellen Page.
Who are you talking
sorry,
about then?
Elliot Page. Sorry, Elliot Page. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I'm saying with that 5 head she's got, you could staple a Playboy centerfold to her forehead, and then that wouldn't be gay. How about that?
Yeah.
Compromise.
Yeah, but Steve, I hope you're right about her coming out in favor of the child thing, because she wasn't able to do it when she was a kid, and because she's 33 years old, so she's had 15 years as an adult to make up her mind about this, and that would just really just go to show how fucking fake all this shit is. If she went with that line,
I say that because that's what I see on Twitter. Whenever anything happens with trans people, trans movement starts trending, the most disgusting people come out of the woodworks, and they have two basic strategies, and one is to be just filthy, repulsive people that curse out anybody that stands in their way, like TERFs or whatever. Like TERFs were trending today, and it was just a bunch of men dressed as women cursing out actual women, and then
vulva owners.
And then the other strategy is to go on these long threads about how they've known since they were 5 years old that they were in the wrong body, and that if they had only gotten to transition as a child, they wouldn't have tried to kill themselves multiple times. And it's just and you read something like this and you're like, and my thought is that, okay, this is actually going to convince some people that transitioning children is a good thing. And I only pray that when we're judged by God, he'll look at it as though we were trying to be empathetic, and not that we were just worshiping Satan with just pure evil.
Well, I'll tell you what,
God already knows what's going to happen. Because remember, he can see. We have free will, but our destiny is kind of predetermined. It's just up to us whether or not we go along. We stay on the path.
If we ignore them long enough,
already knows what's going to happen.
If we ignore them long enough, will the trans and the TERFs eventually destroy each other? Because that could be beneficial.
No, they'll destroy us.
Well, you think they would team up?
We're the ones who know how to shoot guns.
Oh, because I saw the most ridiculous thing earlier today. It was they were saying, that the vulva owners was the term they used. Should
Volvo owners?
Vulva.
I fucking hate Volvo owners. They're the worst drivers on the road.
Yeah, but I was saying they should. Well, let me finish this because this is hilarious. They were saying that they should have to smell their poop more, so they should spend longer sitting on the toilet after they poop.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
So that because not every woman is fortunate enough to have a vagina that doesn't smell like poop.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So in solidarity with the those with a poop smelling vagina, they should sit on the toilet a little longer and smell their own poop. In solidarity.
Or they should just rub feces in their vagina and get yeast infections.
There you go. Fucking that's usually.
That'll give them fucking toxic shock syndrome, and hopefully they'll fucking die from it.
You know, that just the whole TERF versus trans women thing is just the absolute state of the left, because it just shows how all of these unstable positions trying to share the same revolution is absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
And that's why the right is always right, because when you actually have a rock to stand on, you can hold it for centuries. But when your platform is constantly changing, or there's these inconsistencies, like women complaining that trans women are just men trying to invade female spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an entire ideology that caves in on itself as soon as it's presented with another revolutionary idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's where is this going? I don't think that there's any way that feminism and the trans movement can coexist.
Yeah, they're diametrically opposed.
Of course,
Completely.
it's just like Islam and LGBT. It's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but look at all the Muslim congresswomen. They're all extremely pro-gay.
Yeah, in public, but if they worship, or if they're even half respected by their Muslim community members, they're saying the complete opposite, and they're just saying it's taqiyya to the public to further Islam, and everyone will be happy in the Muslim community.
Yeah, and they're also trying to encourage us to degeneracy. So they can breed us.
Oh, your mic went kind of for a second.
Oh, I said that they're saying it on purpose so that we'll degenerate and they can outbreed us.
Still couldn't hear you.
They're already doing that. They're already outbreeding us by 2 to 1 easily.
Yeah, I mean it's just a ploy. They speak blind in public, and then they save the truth for their own groups. And it'll eventually come to bite them in the ass, but in the end, all of these positions that can't coexist, trying to coexist, is just going to drive more and more people away from the revolution.
Misty, there's something wrong with your mic.
Yeah.
God damn.
I can barely hear you.
I would argue that they're actually not trying to coexist. They're just trying to focus their destructive energies together short term.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all like misery loves company. They'll all collude with each other to get their way. That's just the way it is. They'll betray each other down the road, of course.
Yeah. Murray Cohen just subscribed on D Live too, which he's in the chat
Sweet.
too. He's in on stream. So thanks, buddy.
I was gonna ask, when did you get that?
2 days ago.
Oh, nice.
Or 2 streams ago, because I think the first day I had it, my internet dropped, and then I had one full stream. Then last night, we kind of got the beginning and the end of it, because the whole middle was like, we just ended up hanging out on fucking Zoom for a while. And then like about 9:30, I popped it back on because my network fixed itself or whatever.
Yeah.
Looks like you got a solid amount of lemons too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the audio now?
Better.
Much better.
All right. Well, I was just saying that like all of these different ideas that can't coexist, it's just going to disillusion more people and drive them away. Like, think about, I don't know about you guys, but I went through a liberal period where I identified as basically a leftist, and the thing that it only takes one moment of just like I can't rationalize this from my own side to make you start exploring the other side, and that's the path that it takes for a lot of people for them to return to the truth.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was something as simple as why is Obama still allowing China to dominate us?
Yeah.
And I mean, I hadn't even really gotten to the point yet of thinking about social issues. It was just purely on an economic level. Imagine how it is for these people like feminists that are trying to deal with something as radical as men pretending that they belong in their bathrooms. So this stuff is good. This is the kind of thing that we need, because it pokes holes in the left and it drives people back to the truth.
Yeah.
And that's why it makes trans women so angry. If you look on Twitter today, it was just tweet after tweet of these men just cursing out women. They're so angry because these women are supposed to have their back, because the right's not going to have their back.
Yeah.
These men you speak of being the so-called trans women.
Exactly.
And I'm also not sure if you guys saw, I don't know, I actually didn't check poll today, but there was a hashtag trending right around when the news about Ellen Page came out. It was hashtag start cis shaming.
Cis shaming.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And
I don't even use the term cis. I use the term normal.
Yeah.
All I
Or
can say
regular.
is our patience has its limits. Our fucking patience has its limits.
The day of the rake will come.
Yeah.
I actually, because it's not on the trending bar anymore, but I typed it in to search it, and it was also it was the top tweet then, and it's the top tweet still now, and I'm just gonna post it in the DLive chat. But yeah, you want to talk about our patience having its limits? Well, fuck. I mean, very, very, very angering.
Oh.
Let me. I'm gonna
Hey,
put this on
Airraid,
screen because it's so ridiculous. Like,
Airraid, I think your house is on fire.
My house is on fire?
Yeah, there's like smoke rising.
I'm just so hot. It's just so hot.
Let me put
I didn't
this.
see like
Let me
I
put
didn't
this
see-
thread on the screen here because this is.
Does Arid have a cigarette or something? What's he doing?
Yeah, he had a cigarette, but I couldn't see
Smoking.
the cigarette. I couldn't see anything. All I saw was just this.
Well, thank you for caring. Thank you for caring.
Hey,
The
Arid, I
roof.
think your
The
house is on
roof.
fire there, bud.
The roof is on fire.
Oh shit, dude. I got a story with that fucking song. And a guy named Haru
Was
tried
his
to
house
stab
on
me with a
fire?
fork.
Was his
No,
house on fire? Well, that's fucking lame.
you're sitting on a fucking bus, and a guy named Haru was sitting a couple seats away from us, and a buddy I was with went to school with them, and
Were you singing Haru?
they stopped being friends.
Haru.
Well, he started
Haru
singing
is
Haru,
on
Haru, Haru is
fire.
on fire. Yeah, so then I joined in. And then we got off the bus at the same stop, and the guy like flipped out. He started like screaming and screeching at us. And then he reaches into his bag, and I thought he was going to pull out a knife or something. Instead, he pulls out Tupperware, opens it, takes a fork out, puts the Tupperware back in his bag, and then comes at me with a fucking fork and tries to stab me with it. Like, I could have walked away, but I was fucking laughing. So he caught me by surprise. Because I was sitting there fucking like, what are you doing, dude? And he actually tried to stab me. He came fucking like less than an inch away from my fucking stomach with that fork, dude. I couldn't even defend myself because I was still fucking laughing. I would have died.
All right, let me get to this thread.
That's a good attack. That's a good attack because you're going to be distracted by how funny it is, and then you'll let your guard down.
All right, let me get to this thread because I got it up and I don't want to stare at it any longer than I have to. So, this. Do you see what this motherfucker looks like, dude? Like, oh my god. But what are they saying? Suicide/transphobia starts cis shaming. UK trans teens are in danger. Hormone blockers may be banned for people under the age of 16. This could lead to mass suicide. No, hold on. I'm gonna stop him right there because it's the hormone disruption that causes the suicides.
Yeah.
Like, it's the ones that take the fucking hormones that fucking have this fucking massive suicide rate.
Yeah.
But hormone blockers can be reversed. That's also not true.
Really?
Yeah, you start giving them puberty blockers when they're like 10, and they stop taking them when they're 15 or whatever. They miss like key, very important periods of their fucking life, that maturity and shit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I thought like with kids who fail to hit puberty, they just give them like testosterone or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it's still like as far as brain development, all kinds of shit, it fucks with you.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, true. And your height too.
Yeah.
And your bone density, so it actually has like real physical effects that can be quite negative.
What
probably the worst part is the size of your wiener too.
Our body is a trans teen. If this goes through, we won't be able to stop having periods. Oh my god, these people are fucking nuts.
Well, actually, Trucker, you joke about it, the size of the wiener thing, but I mean, to a certain extent, there's actually something to that. I'm not sure if you guys.
I know. That's why I said that. I'm just saying that's probably the worst part of it.
Well,
God.
for
I
them,
can't imagine. I can't imagine what it's like to be living with a tiny wiener. God damn.
For them, it actually can be because you remember Jazz Jennings. I mean, the last name isn't Jennings. It's actually something very Jewish. But that child from I Am Jazz, who's like a child transgender kid.
Yeah.
It eventually went through and tried to do the surgery. It's called like bottom surgery or whatever.
Yeah.
And it had been taking hormones for so long because the way the surgery works is that they and I'm sorry, shield your ears if you're sensitive, but
they convert your penis into a clitoris. Yeah.
Exactly. They slice your cock and then turn it inside out basically. And he didn't have enough meat to slice, so it was really just a disaster because of the hormones. But yeah, sorry, Walrus.
Oh no, you're fine. I wanted to get rid of that.
What hormones did I get when I was a kid that gave me such a big penis? What are you guys talking about?
I don't know, Arian. I guess we're just blessed from the Lord Himself.
Maybe. I always thought that was just genetics, but.
Ha ha ha, penis.
I'm just kidding. I just joke. I mean, yeah.
See, the word penis I don't find funny, but Venus I find fucking hilarious.
Venus is.
I don't know why.
Hilarious.
It is.
Venus.
It means the same. We all know what it means. It means the same fucking thing. But why is it funny? I don't know. It is.
Because it's just Venus.
And then a picture of an Apu saying it is fucking even twice as funny.
Right, and it goes so well together. Oh, well, Spurto saying it's even funnier.
Yes, actually, that's true. That's true.
In my opinion.
I find when you take a word with a P and you put a B, like Gremlin used to call me Beber instead of Pepper, and I thought it was hilarious.
Beber, yeah.
I think that started with the "Hey Peter," like the Joe Swanson meme, where everyone's just like making memes of Joe Swanson, but they instead of Peter, it's Beater, and they use the big red B from the fucking emoji fucking menu.
Hey, Bader.
Hey
Like-
Peter.
Like
Peter.
Nibba. I think Nibba's pretty funny.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
like
good
that
one.
too, actually.
Peter, pumpkin eater, Peter. It's fucking retarded.
I think one of my favorite kind of frog memes was the Big Nibba tea.
Big nip of tea. That's a good one.
Oh, hold that cup, this steaming cup of tea. I don't know why I find that so funny, but every time I see it, I got it saved on my phone now, and every time I'm scrolling for my frog memes, I see that when I stop.
I think Bigger Neater has one of the best usernames.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys, let's get into this macro artist tweet or macro artist thread that I wanted to get into because those were pretty cool last time we did it. It's about that time, so I'm gonna get this pulled up here. What the fuck? Alright, so here we go. This thread will explore the little-known origins of Harvard University as well as the introduction of the printing press to British North America. Let's start by looking at the first headmaster of Harvard, Reverend Nathaniel Eaton. I haven't gone through the whole thread yet, but I'm going to tell you this just starts out as a banger for sure.
Hey, Walrus, were you trying to put it on screen?
Yeah, it's not on screen.
It's not on there.
It will be in a second. Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a delay.
Yeah.
That's why. So, right off the bat, we see something appears tremendously wrong with the Eaton family. Nathaniel Eaton was charged, albeit not in a normal court, with severely beating Harvard students, and his wife, Anne, was charged with lacing the students' food with livestock feces. Put the poo-poo in the food. He was removed after the general court found that he had severely beaten a student and his wife had served students a hasty pudding laced with livestock feces. I'll have to remember that next time Dave's talking about meat pudding. And I'm like, you sure that's meat? Could be the poo-poo.
Yeah. It's poopy.
It's the poo-poo. Looking into the Eaton family, we see the early coordination between education and the government. His brother Theophilus Eaton, Theophilus, I don't know how to pronounce that, the first governor of the New Haven colony, who instituted Connecticut's blue laws, which are heavily Mosaic. Lovely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Theophilus Eaton's wife, Anne Lloyd, also married Thomas Yale, whose descendant would go on to fund Yale University. The aristocratic pattern of marriage for power is also present with Reverend Eaton's wife, Anne Graves, who also married Reverend William Cotton and Reverend Francis Doughty. She married 3 different dudes? Apparently. How much you want to bet these people are part of the tribe if you go back far enough here?
Well, I don't know if
If I had the money, I'd bet $100 on it.
I'll bet you there's connections in there somewhere.
I don't know if they were actually ever Jews, but with Yale, it's very interesting. I just posted it in the D-Live chat. You could take a look at their coat of arms, see what jumps off the page, both literally and figuratively. At you. But,
Let's take a look at that real quick.
but
No, I'm not
yeah.
giving you any money, fucking Wikipedia.
It was also suggested.
Oh yeah. Wow.
It was also suggested by many colonists during the colonial period that Hebrew become the official language of the new United States.
Yeah, that didn't get much traction.
It did not.
Greek had a lot more traction. That one was very considered strongly, was Greek. And I think Latin as well, but especially Greek. But
Whereas Greek would be would have possibly won out over Latin.
Whatever happened to Esperanto?
well, nobody used it for anything.
Esperanto was also a language created by Jews.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I actually had a funny Esperanto thing today, but let's get back to the thread here. That Harvard's feces-smeared reputation was likely papered over by the acquisition of a printing press. The first printing press in the New World was set up in Mexico in 1539. 99 years later, by Joseph Glover, brought the first printing press to British North America. Joseph Glover, a.k.a. Jose, odd for an Englishman, left England after he was... See, I'm telling you, there were some cryptos involved in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jose left England after he was deprived of his position in the church. I wonder why he was... There's some questions here I want to dig into at some point. Glover then died at sea, age around 38, on his way to America, leaving the printing press to his wife, Elizabeth Dunster, and the craft to his servant, Stephen Day. Around 1639, Stephen Day and his son Matthew began printing the Freeman's Oath and the Bay Psalm Book. Both printings seemed like a cultish propaganda. One document bound all members together, and the other was a rewriting of earlier religious texts. Well, yeah, the Psalms. But they hired 30 pious and learned. Let me see. Hezekiah Usher, whose shop at that they printed the book for sale by the bookseller in British America, Hezekiah Usher. I don't know. I think maybe Gentiles actually used the name Hezekiah back then, but information was tightly controlled by the Puritan hierarchy. The lone printing press only distributed approved materials, making Day a very wealthy man. Furthermore, there was only one distributor, this Hezekiah Usher, who sold the printed materials. He got 300 acres of land for his troubles there. 1640, Richard Mather, one of the four authors of the Bay Psalm Book, and grandfather of the witch trials, Cotton Mather, interesting, sponsored Henry Dunster to be relocated to the New World to head the struggling college, Harvard. Henry Dunster studied at both Cambridge and Magdalen, earning a reputation as a distinctive Hebrew scholar. Hebrew, huh? Well, I guess religious studies back then, it wasn't that weird, but then again, I'm sure they were studying some Kabbalah and shit too at the same time, so they were studying Hebrew. Dunster then began his teaching career at England's Bury Grammar School before being recruited as Harvard's new headmaster. On arrival in Massachusetts, the widow Elizabeth and her printing press presented an attractive combo for Henry Dunster, and the two quickly married in 1641. Elizabeth died shortly thereafter in 1643, and the press was now in the complete control of Henry Dunster. Well, ain't that something? The press was now in control of Dunster. Dunster was in charge of Harvard, which meant Harvard now controlled the only printing press within thousands of miles. Access to the singular printing press was extremely limited, and accordingly conferred great authority. In retrospect, the relocation of Glover and his subsequent death at sea certainly was a boon for the Day family as well as Elizabeth Dunster. Likewise, Elizabeth's death was a huge benefit to both Henry and Harvard. It all seems too conveniently suspicious. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. But I digress. Henry led Harvard in its printing monopoly for over a decade until in 1653-4, when his refusal to baptize his son led to wow, I'm telling you, there's some crypto shit going on with these guys. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they're studying fucking Hebrew and...
Well, he could have just been an Anabaptist, too. That was also fairly common back then.
Could be. But when his refusal to baptize his son led to controversy, believing he represented a threat to the colony, he exiled himself to Plymouth, setting up the first church in Scituate, Mass.
What kind of church?
I don't know. Getting back to the printing press, we see the earliest forms of widespread colonial censorship through the alteration of psalms, as well as through the limited range of printed materials available to the colonists. The information control continued in the iron grip of Harvard as they acquired a second printing press in 1659. The Harvard power structure then passed a law that no printing could be done outside of Cambridge. Interesting. I think that American printing press is still on Dunster Street near Mass Avenue in Cambridge too, if I remember correctly. In 1665, the colonists finally received an alternative publisher when Marmaduke Johnson acquired his own printing press and set up shop in Cambridge, printing 20 books between 1665 and 1674.
Please tell me one of them was complaining about the rise of the international Jew.
This is exactly what we're getting here, too, because he noticed the same shit I was noticing. Looking into the genealogies of all these colonists, I noticed a disproportionate number of Old Testament names like Enoch, Judith, Hezekiah, etc.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how's
it going? To your talk about the cryptos, the hidden ones.
Yeah.
Aren't they you fucking flip a rock every single time. It's like, oh, you found out. Like, every fucking time. Every single thing. It's so funny. So funny. And then they wonder for no reason why Germany just decided to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One day just for no reason whatsoever.
Be right back, everybody. I gotta go take care of some stuff really quick. I'm scan in some paperwork and get some food really quick.
All right. So, getting back to the thread. Apparently, the separatist Puritans were almost exclusively adhering to the Old Testament. That's a coincidence there, huh? Not only were the names of the Puritan people and places influenced by the Old Testament, they believed that the moral guidance for all legal decisions should come from the Old Testament. Let me see. Puritans were more Jewish than Protestants.
Yeah, I thought they were Christian. What the hell kind of shit is this?
Well, Puritans were more Jewish than Protestants.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like they said, the moral guidance for all legal decisions should come from the Jewish Bible, which they considered to be the highest authority in all matters. Told you there
moral guidance, wait, on our legal decisions?
Yeah, because we're talking about, Puritan, because they're talking about during the 17th century English Civil War, known as the Puritan Revolution. Puritans, they say they were Protestant fundamentalists who wanted to purify the Church of England. Some of them separated, forming their own church. They felt that Parliament, not the king, should have the final say, and that the moral guidance for all legal decisions should come from the Jewish Bible. They considered to be the highest authority in all matters.
Jeez, well, how coincidental.
Right. Yeah, what a coincidence.
The
right?
Jewish Bible. Or as they call it, the Torah. Why don't they just say they try the Jewish Bible?
Because whoever wrote this,
you only say the Torah.
Because whoever wrote this didn't use that term; they used Jewish Bible.
But that's a Jewy code. That's a trick, because literally what they're saying in that whole thing is no Jesus, and the Bible is both Old and New Testament. Otherwise, it's not the Bible.
Well, actually, the guy is probably just writing it for his audience, who would have been probably more evangelical Christians who might not know the term Torah. I would think.
I think they would.
Judging by what I'm reading here. So, because it's ChristianityRevealed.com, so I'm pretty sure that's where this is from.
Hey, our company hired another white guy.
Hey, cool.
Yay!
All right. Yeah, we're always happy when that happens.
Puritans were obsessed with the Bible and came to identify their political struggle against England with that of the ancient Hebrews against the Pharaoh or the king of Babylon. And because they so identified so strongly with ancient Israel, they chose to identify with the Old Testament. No Christian community in history identified more with the Israelites of the Bible than the first generations of settlers of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, who believed their own lives to be a literal reenactment of the biblical drama of the chosen people. They were the children of Israel and persecuted victims of the sinful Christian establishment of the old world. Oy vey! It's another show. Puritans also had a natural sympathy for the Jews of their own time. Aw.
No,
Protestant Puritan leader Cotton Mather repeatedly referred to the Jews in his prayer for their conversion as God's beloved people. The influence of the Hebrew Bible marks every step of the Puritan exodus to their Zion in the wilderness of the New World. The Jewish Bible formed their minds and dominated their characters. Its conceptions were their conceptions. Well, isn't that lovely?
What other bullshit?
Right. Furthermore, some of these fanatical colonists also believed themselves to be the elect of God, whom could communicate directly with Hebrew prophets, and even went as far as visualizing their enemies in the Revolutionary War as Amalekites. I told you they had to be like studying some Kabbalah and shit with all that Hebrew they were reading into and stuff. They fasted in a manner reminiscent of the fast held by the Israelites for any new undertaking. Their pastor Robertson read 1 Samuel, and then they sailed to the new Canaan in America. This custom, combining prayer and fasting with biblical readings on momentous occasion, persisted, and as late as 1800, President Adams likewise called a national day for prayer and fasting. Next major group of Puritan settlers to arrive in New England was headed by John Winthrop. They were ruled initially by an elite of leading Puritan families. Since calling itself based on biblical principles and was moved to the Puritan spirit of the Scripture, was the Holy Jewish Bible. Woohoo! The Puritans wholeheartedly believed that it was their special mission to establish in America a society precisely modeled on the precepts of sacred Jewish scriptures.
Puritans.
Yeah. The Massachusetts Bay Colony. Yeah. Fucking Puritans, right? Massachusetts Bay Colony.
The people who had a pretty bad reputation, right? I mean, because like all the witch burning stuff came from the Puritans, right?
Yep. That was the whole. That's why in the last one they were talking about Cotton Mather, who was one of the biggest proponents of the Salem witch trials and shit. And he was the grandson. Be convicted
for having sex with 12-year-old girls. I mean, it's much easier to just burn them at the stake.
Well, hold on a second. Let's pull back a bit there. So they have a bad reputation, Puritans, for the witch trials, right? Now, are you guys aware where that comes from? Like,
Burn
specifically,
the witch. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
In the 20th century, it comes from the play.
Please tell us.
It comes from the play The Crucible, right?
Oh yeah,
Arthur
The Crucible.
Miller.
Yeah, we read that
Now,
in high school.
Arthur Miller. I mean, you can take a guess. You can smash his early life.
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't another one of these children-loving chosen people.
Right.
I
That's
love
just
the children so much.
I don't know. Then again, maybe there were witches just like there are today. Like I think we could do with burning a few of these feminists, like these high-level influencing feminists. Like, I wouldn't mind burning them at the stake.
You guys were talking about the trannies earlier. Did you guys go over
joking?
that?
Of course, I disavow that sort of
You guys
thing.
were talking about trannies. So we were driving in the car going on a beer run. Were you guys talking about that wacky bitch there?
Yes.
The one who played Juno?
Ellen
And
Page.
I'm a trans guy now. I got a baseball cap and a short haircut. You'll respect me and my wife, thank you very much. Like,
Did she say that she?
Yeah,
was
I'm not getting
going
into
to-
that because we're in the middle of a thread here. That.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
By
we
the way,
already
her
made fun of
hairline
her
isn't a
anyways.
haircut.
Well, just
and I
real
almost
quick,
didn't
let-
even want to talk about it because it's
Let me just
not
ask one
very
the one
helpful
question.
to like sit here and rage about bullshit all day.
Yeah, she's a fucking retard. But like, is she actually transitioning? Just as
I don't
real
know.
quick?
I don't care.
Okay. Well, move
Back
on
to
from her
the
then.
thread.
I don't like to give those people the attention because that's what they want is attention.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
all right, back to the Jew thread.
Yeah, back to the
Back to the other problem.
Puritan Puritans. The Puritans wholeheartedly believe. Oh, we went through that. Massachusetts Bay Colony was at the very least a state inspired by and thoroughly devoted to the Jewish Bible. If we keep this covenant, Governor John Winthrop assured his people, we shall find that the God of Israel is among us. But if we deal falsely with our God, we be consumed out of the good land whither we are going. The Jewish covenant concept was thus the bedrock of all Puritan religious communities. When the Puritans, a bitterly persecuted people by the English government, reached America, they drew clear analogies between themselves and the Jews of antiquity. They constantly referred to the Hebrew Bible, renewing the similarities to their own experience, so that its philosophy and spirit came to permeate their lives. Also, like Israel of old, the Pilgrims and their fellow Puritan counterparts regarded themselves as the elect of God, so that throughout the Revolutionary War, they visualized their enemies as Amalekites or Philistines.
Some say they were chosen, if you will.
Exactly.
Certain people.
In a manner reminiscent of the traditional Jewish Passover night, the Pilgrims too memorialized their passage into freedom. In searching the scriptures for readings pertinent to their own situation, the Puritans readily discovered the general similarity between themselves and the ancient Israelites and proceeded to draw from it some very particular conclusions. They firmly believed that the Hebrew prophets were speaking to them as directly as they had spoken to the Israelites. Thus, the history of the Israelites as related in the Bible served, according to the ministers of the day, as a mirror in which the Puritans could see their own activities reflected. Still considering themselves as Christian Protestants, the Puritans related to the Israelites and their Jewish belief for their fundamental grounding. I'm sure there was some that were. I told you that there had to be some cryptos involved in there too, especially with Jose. You know, that was like not too long after they got kicked out of Spain. You know.
When isn't there though? There always is.
Yep.
Like I said,
I mean, weren't the,
every fucking problem, you flip over the fucking rock and it just, you exposed me to the light.
Yeah,
Close up,
weren't there
boy.
Puritans like 1% of the population and represented like 50% of the financial crimes? Something like that.
So these religious
like
zealots
80%.
believed the word of God from the Hebrew scriptures was the preeminent law of the land. Failure to adhere to these arcane texts resulted in fines and whipping. Mathers even proposed the death penalty for Sabbath violations.
It's
So
also
that whole having sex with 12-year-olds, that was okay because that was part of that arcane law, right?
Apparently. They differed sharply from the majority of traditional Christian theologies. To the Puritans, the primary lesson of the Old Testament was that a nation as well as an individual could enter into a covenant with God. The Puritan church was not ruled by a formal and rigid papal hierarchy, but derived its direction immediately from God, ruled by His Word, as revealed in the sacred Jewish scriptures. The Jewish Bible was the inspired Word of God, which was for them a matter of absolute conviction and hence indisputable. Accordingly, failure to abide by the strict reading and literal interpretation of the Scriptures was severely punished. If any Christian, so-called, spoke contemptuously of the Scripture or the holy penman thereof, they were to be punished by fine or whipping. Laws were also passed punishing those who violated the Sabbath.
I wonder if every single time there was a splintering of the Christian church, right? Because that's what the Puritans obviously were. They were fucking giant splintering.
Yeah.
I wonder that. I wonder that about Martin Luther when he started his Protestant movement. No, I'm not a fan of the Catholics. I was raised Catholic, and I think they did a lot of damage to Christianity as is. But I start wondering that, like Martin Luther, I wonder if he was crypto. I thought that about the guy who started Jehovah's Witness. Pretty sure he was crypto. Same thing with the guy who started Mormonism.
Have you ever read the works of Martin Luther?
Yeah,
on
he
the
was
Jews and
He
I
highly doubt that he was a crypto.
True that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was, he really hated his parents.
Yeah.
Hey, he did that early life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend reading it if anybody hasn't read that. The works of Martin Luther. He was not a fan of.
What was that called again? On the Jews and their lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Hitler wouldn't have wrote something so you know what I mean? Like it's fucking.
Well, the Nazis actually used Luther as a propaganda figure.
Yeah.
Well, because Martin Luther was in Germany, and it was
of course,
Lutheran was a Germanic movement. And,
not to digress, but the National Socialists had officially declared Germany as a dual religious state. It was Protestant and Catholic, and they were both protected. Nothing else was, mind you, but they were.
Which was a big deal because of the Kulturkampf under Bismarck in the late 19th century.
Yeah, well, there was the lingering schism between the two sides and the Germanic people, right? Like they're all like, oh, we're all the same, and we're all speaking the same language, we're all similar cultural and genetics, but we have this religious divide. So they had to bridge that to create a state, right? Anyways, sorry.
Right, so let's get back to this. Yeah. Mosaic law was prevalent throughout the Connecticut Code of 1650 and the Massachusetts Code of 1660. The 1655 New Haven Code had 50% of the statutes citing the Old Testament and just 3% citing the New Testament. Most of the official acts of the colonies were determined by Jewish scriptures. One of these, the Connecticut Code of 1650, adopted a near Mosaic form of government. Pentateuchal citations and language are later found in the Massachusetts Code of 1660. I mean, that's probably where the because it is in the Old Testament with the "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live" and all that shit, And I wouldn't be surprised if that's why there was the whole Salem witch trials and all that, But as I was saying, 15 capital laws, Pentateuchal citations, and language are later found in the Massachusetts Code of 1660. The guide of early Connecticut was Thomas Hooker, a man deeply touched by the Bible and its spirit, and called by some the founder of American democracy. He wrote in a letter in 1648 to Governor Winthrop of Massachusetts on the subject of liberty under the law. Sit liber judex, as the lawyers speak, Deuteronomy, thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform, according to the sentence of the law. Thou shalt not seek that law at his mouth, not ask what his discretion allows, but what the law requires. Puritans incorporated the Mosaic Code and injunctions from the Old Testament into their own legal framework. It is worthy of note that fully half of the statutes in the Code of 1655 for the New Haven colony contain references to or citations from the Old Testament, while only 3% refer to the New Testament. Accordingly, the first settlers in New England called themselves Christian Israel. Comparison of the Puritan leaders with the great leaders of ancient Israel, especially Moses and Joshua, were common. So the names of Daniel, Jonathan, Esther, Enoch, Ezra, Rachel, and a host of others were in constant use among the Puritans. Interestingly enough, there was a conspicuous absence of the names of Christian saints. They named a lot of the stuff: Mount Carmel, Mount Horeb, Mount Nebo, Mount Ephraim, Mount Gilead, Mount Hermon, Mount Moriah.
Mount Nibber.
Yeah. Some mountains in the New World were even called Mount Sinai, Mount Zion, and Mount Olive. Puritan obsession with the Bible led them to try and incorporate many aspects of the Jewish commandments into their lifestyle based on their literal interpretation of the Hebraic laws. One of the most significant was the concept of the Sabbath as a day of rest and meditation. Puritan Sabbath observance began at sundown, and no work of any kind, even household chores, was allowed for the next 24 hours. Sabbath observance was strictly monitored by local officials. Don't you dare fucking mow your yard. Upon retrospect, the Puritan colonies seem like a cult, and Harvard looks more like a mind control operation. Yeah. I would say an incredibly Jewish influence one at that.
Yeah, I always thought that was a weird one. Like, oh, you cannot work on Sunday, and then like the Jewish version is,
Saturday.
oh, we could get the Goyim for
Saturday.
We could get the Goyim to come over, and that'll be our little loophole. We'll get them to work for us, but we won't work. It's like, what?
They have some like weird shit. Like, I guess they're not supposed to use an elevator, so they have these like special like Sabbath elevators and shit, and like light switches.
Push your switch.
No, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. This is a weird one. Some of them will hire people to like stay in their house on the Sabbath, right?
Shabbos
and be like,
boy.
hey, can you turn on the light for me? I'm not allowed to touch the light switch. And then another group of them will create little like Rube Goldberg contraptions, so that whatever they do, they're not, so that they could like drop a marble down a thing, and then like something else like further down the line turns the light on, so that way they never really technically touch the switch. Yeah,
it's just like cheating though.
Yeah, I always thought that
what
was
they're very
really.
good at.
I always thought that was really weird about them because they. It's like they just like cheat. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's like, which is very uncharacteristic of them, but
they're happiest. They're happy when they cheat a goy, but they're happiest when they can feel like they cheated God.
Right, and in American politics, because even the Puritans considered themselves Protestants, but like, and the rest of America at the time, they were. It was almost purely white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, and Scots, a lot of Scots. So, but there wasn't a whole lot of Catholics and stuff. It was mostly Protestants. Maybe some Irish Catholics, but I think even then they had mostly converted to Protestantism. But And we have, like, in American law, there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, and you're supposed to consider both, you know? That's,
Yeah.
which kind of leaves a lot of things open to interpretation. That's why we have a Supreme Court, and that's why there's some questionable Supreme Court decisions, such as Roe versus Wade, is because of a creative interpretation of the spirit of the law.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but like when it's a religious sort of belief, and it's like either you're doing it for your spiritual belief or you aren't. Like either you're adhering to this sort of discipline where it's like, okay, I'm not going to do this because I'm just going to live that kind of life. It's like to come in and be like, oh well, I'm not going to do this, but maybe if I could get to work around it to get this other person. Like,
that's what I was driving at with them.
You're missing the point.
Yeah, with them, that's exactly what I was driving at with them. It's all about the letter of the law and see how we can work around it. And all this
right.
Shit. And if you look at how they operate, that's exactly how they operate. You know what I mean? And so there is a lot of that bullshit. Is there anything else interesting in here? I don't think so. Thanksgiving, which has evolved into a national day of feasting and celebration, was originally initially conceived by the Pilgrims in 1621 as a day similar to the Jewish Sukkot. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, but the holiday of joy as told in Leviticus 23:40. It was for the Puritans and is for the Jews a day of great joy because it was the time of the year for the gathering grain and fruits from their fields into their homes. Time for introspection and prayer because it was God, not man, who allowed the first harvest. Yeah, that's pretty much all that's interesting in there. But that was pretty interesting.
Well, I would also add just one thing because this thread was very American-centric. Cromwell was also a Puritan, and he is one of the things he's most famous, or I guess from our perspective, infamous for, is allowing the Jews back into England.
Yeah, and that's kind of because they kind of touched on it when they were talking about the English Civil War, which was the Cromwell,
right.
And they called it the Puritan Civil War, but yeah, that was Cromwell's thing. And that's why a lot of them came here, actually, was because after the English Civil War, they weren't as welcome in England as they, after that,
Didn't he get burned at the stake?
Yes.
No,
Wow.
He died peacefully and was later exhumed and hung.
That's right.
His dead body was hung.
Yeah, they dug him up. They dug him up and hung him after the fact.
They were like, "Damn it!"
Sorry, I thought.
Yeah, we showed him.
I thought you said they dug him up and found out he was hung, so he must have the same genetics.
Yeah, I thought that's what.
Oh, he's hanged. He was hanged.
Like,
Well, it's
damn
like
it,
I
we
said,
forgot to
there
hang
are-
this guy. He's already dead, though. Well, dig him up and hang him.
There are certain Christian ways of thinking that the reason the Old Testament is in the Bible with the New Testament is, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with this, but it is interesting to think about that some Christian sects believe that was in there, included in that, because because they wanted to show that Jesus was trying to show the way to the real God, and what the ancient Israelites were worshiping was some some demon, basically.
Yeah, Moloch.
Hey, just a quick interjection here on a totally separate note. Just wanted to inform you guys in the listening audience. Yeah, I've received now my 4th absentee ballot.
Yeah,
Fourth.
Nobody
this
else
is getting
in the house?
crazy.
I got 4. One personally from Democrat.
You know why? It's probably because you moved from New York. And they're like, "Oh, a New Yorker, yeah, she'll
Yeah, right.
vote Democrat."
We're going up to New York
Yeah,
for Christmas.
probably,
I'm gonna go
yeah.
up there and I'll have a bunch waiting there for me too.
Yeah. Your mom will be like, "Oh, you got like 20 of these. What's going on?"
Murray Cohen
Sorry.
says, for further reading on the Jewish Puritan similarities, he encourages all to read Kevin MacDonald's A People That Shall Dwell Alone, specifically the preface to the paperback edition in Control of Puritans.
There's a smart guy, Kevin MacDonald.
But back to what I was saying, so the, like I said, so the, there was a lot that, some Christian sects believe that they included the Old Testament to show that the Bible that the Jews were worshiping back then was not the true God and was a some kind of demonic entity, and that's, you know, and it was there to show the contrast between the God of vengeance and destruction, and, you know, versus the God of love that's in the new, as expressed in the New Testament. But it is interesting to think about if these they were so focused on the Old Testament and the Israelites of old, and we know that they were studying Hebrew, so they were probably getting into Kabbalah, and who knows what kind of stuff they were getting into. And then all of a sudden they're mirroring exactly the stories from the Bible and all kind of crazy shit, you know, from the Old Testament. All kind of crazy shit. So.
Yeah, I don't know how you could be a Christian and take the Old Testament as more important than the New Testament. That doesn't seem to make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always believed that it doesn't seem like the New Testament and Old Testament line up right. I think, yeah.
Yeah. And Neon Noir's pointing out, which I know this, that the modern day Jews are not related to the ancient Israelites. Mm-hmm. I'm very fully aware of that.
Yeah, because like modern Jews are recognized by their betrayal of Jesus Christ and their and refusal of accepting his ways. Because the old Jews became the Christians.
Where are you getting that from?
Well, the Jews, the apostles,
the idea?
were Jews.
The apostles were,
but their new religion was Christianity. That's what. So the Jews don't exist anymore. They're Christians.
Most of the
Jews that we call the Jews aren't actual Jews anymore.
No, what became Christendom?
That sounds like sneaky Jew shit.
What became Christendom was mostly the
Europeans.
Yeah, the Europeans, and, you know, because of the Roman Empire.
Well, even if you go down to the area of Jesus, you go to the Levant, where all this stuff happened. I mean, that was a big problem the Jews had with Jesus in the first place, is that he walked with non-Jews. He hung out with Samaritans. He hung out with all kinds of people that were not considered Jewish. So,
because if you read like the letters of to the Ephesians and the that's not the biggest one I'm thinking. I can't remember the biggest one I'm thinking about. But they're talking about, you know, because they were mainly preaching it to Gentiles, and they're like, do they have to follow the Jewish laws and stuff? And that's where they came up with like, no, because we created a new covenant.
Yes.
yeah, the only Jewish laws you got to follow are the Ten Commandments.
Right, which is why, like,
But those aren't really Jewish; they're God's laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
because at the end of the day, you know, what we call it is something we created. It's not what it actually is, I guess.
Well, and in Christianity, you can be forgiven for anything, and it's basically love thy neighbor is the only real commandment. Love thy neighbor as you would love yourself. And
I started wondering if they were so concerned about following the Jewish laws, because really what they were asking is like, do we have to give up pork? Kind of like to eat my bacon in the morning.
Well, I think the biggest thing they were worried about, they're like, do we have to cut the tip
kosher.
of our dick off? Like,
Yeah, right, that too. I have to mutilate myself while not eating bacon because these things don't sound good. I'm just
I'm putting myself in that
Really
position.
shit into the deal.
Yeah, putting myself in that position, I probably would have been a game killer there. You know what I mean? Like a deal killer for sure.
You got to show God you're serious. You got to whittle off the top of your dick.
in a way, the Protestant
I gotta give up
split,
bacon and cut my dick. Like
the Protestant split kind of has some sort of connection to or resemblance to the Christian split from Judaism, in that you have the Jewish society run by their priestly class, as then they give forgiveness. They tell you when you can and can't do. They tell you what deals are good or not good.
I would also say the schism between the Orthodox and the Catholic Church were
right.
Yeah.
Was the first. Well, okay, so yeah, there would have been the split because like Jesus overturning the money changers in the temple.
Yeah, but
so
there was.
The schism between the Orthodox and the Catholics was very similar to that as well. And then Martin Luther would have been a very similar figure as well.
But Jesus going that it's not about the Pharisees, not about these priests, they're irrelevant. Their rules and their laws are irrelevant. It's just the covenant with you and God.
Well, that was the Protestant perspective, the universality.
Well, that's Jesus' perspective too.
Correct. Yes.
Right. He said, "I am the church." It's not. There's priests who tell you what you can and can't do. It's here's what God says.
Where two or more are gathered in my name, there I shall be.
Exactly.
Right.
Those words.
And that was, I'm just drawing the parallels there with Martin Luther. And I'm not Protestant or Catholic. I don't care. I don't want to, argue with anybody any the finer points of that shit. I just think that it's interesting, and that's that kind of same. So someone in Rome doesn't have power over whether or not you have a connection to God. Sorry, that was it. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, no, I'm laughing at the chat.
Do they still have power over whether or not you can take a shit?
I'm laughing at the chat over here because it's pretty funny what's going on there. But
Digger Neater has a good point. It should have been in the 10.
Yeah.
What chat are you reading right now?
Well, Dakashe and Dila. Dakashe was asking Taco Junkie if they were a vulva owner. but the words there, are you a vulva owner? Do you have a taco? Oh, that's what I was laughing at. But
He's rubbed at 38.
But yeah, like I was saying with the so if the Puritans were really stuck on the whole, Torah aspects and the Pentateuch and shit, and Mosaic law and all this, and they're studying Hebrew and apparently Kabbalah and all this shit. Mm-hmm. Maybe they were tapping back into that whole like other demonic entity type thing there.
I would say so. Even the kind of let's say naive ones, not necessarily innocent ones, but the naive ones didn't know what they were necessarily doing, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. Like they probably didn't know exactly what they were doing, but
yeah, they weren't sitting around going, "Hey, we're rejecting Christianity and praying to a demon." They probably thought they were tricked into going.
Oh, is that what demons do? Is that the point of a demon? To trick you?
Yes.
They put on their little small hats. They put on their small hats and they trick people.
Ivy.
Well, so it wasn't as obvious back then. It's not like Jews were pushing, trannies on everybody. All they really did.
Okay, they didn't have the ability to push transgenderism, but they still pushed pretty much transgenderism. I don't know.
You think they weren't running? You think they weren't running black market shit and pornography and prostitution
Well,
200 years ago, 300 years
Yeah,
ago.
I think they were
1,000
big
years
on
ago,
pushing eunuchs, which is
2,000
probably as
years
close,
ago. Oh
close
yeah.
to a tranny as you were getting back then as a eunuch.
well, I think the Goyim seem to have a better handle on things back then because they've been kicked out of 109 countries. I don't see them kicked out of any countries lately. We're too fucking.
Yep.
Oh, and here's some stuff that I missed looking at the.
Then again, they did get kicked out of
Yeah, didn't
El
Iceland kick them
Salvador
out
or
in
one of
2008?
these Central American countries.
Well, they kicked a
Iceland kicked them out in
bank out,
2008.
so yes, but no. I mean, it wasn't.
It was like a local level, but
Didn't they ban circumcision though, or weren't they
Yes.
thinking
Yeah,
about
I
They
mean,
that?
did
I
do
think they
that.
pretty much made it very uncomfortable
Based.
for any Jew to live there.
Yeah, and then they tried to
Not
force
all
them because they actually didn't have any Jewish people there anyway, and so they.
Nobody
but they,
really does.
they sent a rabbi up there.
But they
It's
sent a rabbi up there.
Iceland's first rabbi, and it's like, here we
Yeah.
go again.
Exactly.
If you ban circumcision and you ban kosher slaughter and you ban animal sacrifice and you put pretty strong usury laws in place, I mean,
you ban
pretty
pedophilia.
much
They're out of business.
Yeah.
you pretty much destroyed, Jewry.
Well, for them though,
but
it's
I was
like,
looking at the-
That's why we have to go to Iceland. Whereas, like most groups will be like, well, they clearly hate us up there, so let's just stay away from that.
Yeah, let's just go somewhere else.
Like, let's
Not
not
them.
go where we're utterly
We're like,
hated.
oh, we hate it there. We
Right.
gotta make them, force them to love us.
But
This attitude.
I was looking at the YouTube chat, and there was some interesting stuff too while I was reading that. Old man Hockler saying he's from Salem. And they hung witches in Salem. They didn't burn them, so that's a common misconception. If you were found to be a witch in Salem, your land went up for sale for pennies on the dollar. So people accused their neighbors and then bought their land for next to nothing.
That's some Jewish shit right there.
Exactly.
I was just saying
Yeah.
Some real Jewish
Where have we
shit
seen
right
that
there.
type of behavior before?
Yeah, so they essentially got rich off it. A lot of deep staters can trace their roots to these areas and times. Shit's been going on forever. Yep. And not just that, but like Boston College is basically like the alphabet agency. If you wanted to join the alphabet agencies, then you would go study like something like
OSHA butchering.
law enforcement or whatever at Boston College, because that's where that's like their Harvard for the alphabet agencies kind of. And then Yale was, the CIA was founded by Skull and Bones, which is directly, and Skull and Bones founded the CIA, and they're like the biggest in Yale and everything too, so lots of connections, which is in Connecticut, so lots of connections there.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
Fucking kikes, I tell you. Oh, sorry. God damn it. I was
Uh,
doing so good too, man. I did so many streams that I was slip. I'm so
These
sorry.
gamer words into it.
It always happens, Sorry.
We haven't chosen a gamer word of the day in a while.
Oh yeah.
I go with nibber. Woo! I miss nibber. Man, I can tell you. So, what else have you guys covered? We tuned in a little late and you were on to the tranny thing, which you said you're not going back to. Now it's talking about these weird Jews and they're hiding as Puritans right in front of us.
we were talking about Bar
Hey,
for a while.
could the
Roseanne
natives,
and
these Indians, could they now be pissed at Jews instead of us then? Like, can they just no more Hanukkah? That's National Native American Day. Can they do that now?
no, because
You know what I'm saying, right?
quite honestly,
Well, actually, that whole thing is a bullshit psyop anyway, because actually, Ann Coulter actually wrote something really good on the real Thanksgiving. And it wasn't just that. It was because the Iroquois, there was I forget the name of the tribe, that was really hugging to the Massachusetts coast, or the New England coast area, because the Iroquois Nation was so fucking ruthless, where they'd burn fucking children in front of their parents just to fucking and like steal dudes' wives and send them all different places and all kind of shit, and so like when the Pilgrims got there, they had guns and all that shit, so they helped fight off the Iroquois. So the Indians they were thankful for each other because the Pilgrims helped them fight off the bad Indians, I guess you'd say.
Yeah,
and,
I was gonna throw out there that if left alone, I don't think the natives would have too much of a problem with Europeans right now. All their kind of anti-white shit always seems to be instigated by outsiders.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
like I was saying, so
And
that
it
was
always-
in Massachusetts. Mexico was a very similar thing. The reason the Spanish had such an easy time taking over Mexico, because the Aztecs, who would like fucking sacrifice like thousands of people a day on their fucking altars and shit, you know what I mean? So all the other tribes around Mexico were like scared shitless. So when the Spanish came in, they were like, they had the support of every other tribe besides the Aztecs to help fight the Aztecs.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
South
So-
America, they had a totally different thing why they had such an easier time, the Portuguese and the Spaniards, because, the ones back then, they weren't all dark like they are today, with the olive skin, the dark hair.
Yeah.
I mean, you still see it, right? What is it called? They got the mestizos, and what's the other one? The castizos, and they all have like blue eyes or green eyes and super light skin, because these conquistadors that came over here looked very white. They all had blonde hair, blue, and a lot of the South America.
Nope.
My
you
cat
dropped-
muted me. He thought these were the gods. The gods
Wow.
came back, and they just instantly were just like, "Oh, thank God you're back!
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You came back on your big flying ship things. Oh, we love you guys. Here,
Yeah.
have all the gold. Have
Okay.
our women."
Interesting thing about Mormons. The Mormons believe that the lost tribes of Israel went across the Atlantic Ocean on saucer-shaped boats and founded the like the Mayan and early civilizations in South America and Central America.
Yeah, the natives over here.
Yeah,
But Mormons also believe in magic underwear, so
Well, that's true too. But imagine now. I'm not saying that this is true, but imagine they actually had stumbled upon some sort of truth there. And
Well, it
just
was
misinterpreted
probably
it.
because what's his name, Joseph Smith, and
So he was a big grifter, dude. He came up with some.
he was a
said
big
some
grifter,
crazy
but he
shit.
was also a Mason.
bro,
Yeah.
I
And
found
was,
some. Hey, you know who else was a Mason? Guy I brought up earlier, the fucking founder of Jehovah's Witness. He's
Yeah.
also a Freemason.
Yeah, he was.
Russell.
Yeah, but what I was saying. So and during that time, like before, let's see, who was it? Francis Bacon had wrote The New Atlantis, and so if you read The New Atlantis. It really, there's a lot of similarities between the New Atlantis and, although it's more secular, kind of, but they were supposed to be Christians and everything. There's a whole lot like in the New Atlantis, and they had been, where they had found this, on an island way to the west. There was this whole group, and they were Christians, and they had I think it even said that like it was very similar to the Book of Mormon. I think it said that after Jesus rose from the dead and ascended into heaven, then he came over to the New Atlantis, which is almost word for word like what the Book of Mormon stated.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So most Mormons wouldn't be aware of this, but Joseph Smith almost certainly read the New Atlantis and that's where he got most of his ideas from.
Well, didn't a lot of the founding fathers also? I mean, they love Sir Francis Bacon.
No.
So why, like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of neoclassical architecture. I mean, not
Well,
only is it beautiful, but
because
they were trying to make America into the new Atlantis.
Francis Bacon was heavily involved with the Rosicrucians, the early first Rosicrucian movement.
I don't know
in the
why
early
you find
days,
it.
huh?
I don't know why you find it so hard to believe that Joseph Smith found golden plates on a mountain that nobody else saw. He translated into the Book of Mormon.
Twice he did this.
And then these plates just disappeared. I don't know why you find that so hard to believe.
He found them again, though. I mean, he did find them again and then translated, which was slightly different because the plates were magical and they changed.
Oh, God.
And then he lost them again.
Yeah. Joseph Smith.
I mean, come on. I 100%. I'm right there with that magic underwear, bro. My God lives on a planet with his thousands of... I think that's how he gets a lot of the dudes. And he tells them, oh, God lives on a planet with thousands of hot wives. And that could be you someday. That could be you. You could have your own planet with thousands of hot wives.
Where do I convert?
Funny. Yeah, most people are like, that sounds like bullshit. A couple of guys are like, well, not so fast.
One wife makes your life...
You know what, John? That sounds like something Lord Z would say.
One wife can make your life a living hell. I can't imagine 1,000.
Just saying. 1,000. Sounds a lot like Lord Xenu talk over there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Muslims were pretty crazy with the 72, and it's like thousands, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love.
He's like, I can top that. Hold my beer.
Well, in the morning too.
No, really, hold this because I'm never gonna drink.
We can't all talk at once.
You guys remember that? It's a really old meme. It was like fucking the Muslim, and he blows himself up, and he gets to heaven, and the 72 virgins are like all these little Star Trekky dudes. Just sitting there with their laptops waiting.
Oh my God!
Like, oh, this is not what I had in mind. The 72 virgins.
Yeah, and he's like raising his fist in the air. He's like, Muhammad.
Oh, I love that one. That was good.
Gotcha.
And it's like, hey, turns out Muhammad, crypto. Gotcha again.
I mean, there's some truth to that for sure.
Yep.
All right. My husband's looking at this article here. Yeah, you guys hear what's going on in our state, right? They're trying to like fucking destroy all the voting evidence here. Like, yeah, there's no need, nothing. Okay, let's just burn it all now, like we're in Argentina or something. It's fine.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking crazy? Like, yeah, it's like not disputed or anything. I mean, so just let's just bring a dump truck and throw it all away. It's fine. We never need to look at it again. Who needs receipts? Nobody.
I saw a live stream of a guy who was at somewhere in Georgia. Anyways. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, because Don Cachet was talking about the CNN tapes that were leaked. I think you actually posted it in the group chat where from Project Veritas.
I put the CNN quote.
And then CNN was like, I think this is a felony. So I'm like, ooh, I want to watch this.
Yeah. This could be good.
Maybe we should go ahead and throw it up. Let me see. When I ordered a 42-inch TV, I wasn't expecting a dwarf transvestite.
What the hell?
I saw that before, and then it popped up in my stream. I was like, I gotta fucking retweet that, repost that.
That shit was hilarious.
So what were these CNN tapes?
I'm getting to it right now. But I had to go into the group chat to see that, to look.
And then you saw transvestite.
And I saw that when I ordered a 42-inch TV. Did not expect a transvestite mention. All right, let me add this to the you guys will have to listen to it on DLive or YouTube because it doesn't pipe in the sound into Zoom.
Shave and a haircut.
All right, let me play this real quick.
Washington.
You're unmuted. Hey, Jeff Zucker, you there? Hey,
yes.
This is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute. Do you still feel you're the most trusted name in news? Because I have to say, from what I've been hearing on these phone calls, I don't know about that. I mean, we got a lot of recordings that indicate
fill that dead air, Aaron.
I was just gonna say, I do find it pretty fucking funny that CNN replied to that on Twitter.
Yeah, it's not dead air though, because I was playing it. I said you'll have to listen to it on the thing, but
oh shit,
it's not dead air.
No,
you can't hear it on Zoom. You have to hear
Didn't
it.
hear everything.
Yeah, I told you that. I said that, so that's why I said you had to listen to it on D Live or. So let me start this over again.
Washington.
You're unmuted. Hey, Jeff Zucker, you there? Hey,
yes.
This is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions.
Can you guys mute or something while we're watching this? Cause
yes.
Washington.
You're unmuted. Hey, Jeff Zucker, you there? Hey,
yes.
This is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute. Do you still feel you're the most trusted name in news? Because I have to say, from what I've been hearing on these phone calls, I don't know about that. I mean, we got a lot of recordings that indicate you're not really that independent of a journalist.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. So everybody, in light of that, I think what we'll do is we'll set up a new system, and we'll be back with you. We'll do the rest of the call a little bit later.
We're going to release those recordings today at 7 o'clock. So stay tuned. It's going to be fun.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
So you just heard me talk to the president of CNN, Jeff Zucker, and inform him that that we are going to release a number of recordings today. I unmuted myself into the conference line, and they're still on there. They're listening to me right now. This is being live streamed for those of you still on the call. And we've recorded for a while, and we have clips of various producers talking, the president talking, describing their motives, describing their political philosophy, describing how they don't cover certain things, and certain political parties tell them to cover things a certain way. Lots of little clips that takes us into the minds and hearts of our people, powers that be, that inform us, because government is downstream from media. So we're going to be releasing these tapes thanks to one of our sources. One of our brave insiders has given us this information. And as you can see, they're still milling about on the call. They're listening to me right now. They have to, quote, change their system and get a different dial-in, I guess, now, because we've compromised dial-in. Project
Well, I guess we need to change the channel, huh? Change the number, huh?
Is that Zucker there?
*6 again.
You're unmuted. Hey, Jeff, you still there?
Yeah.
They're still on there. Yeah, so we don't want to change the channel, really. We want to stay on the channel. We think it's important for the American people to know how you make the sausage, right? How you, to quote Noam Chomsky, manufacture consent. You know, consent should not be manufactured. It should be informed. People should be an informed populace to make informed decisions. So there you have it, folks. Live streaming the CNN 9 a.m. conference call. It was abruptly ended when James O'Keefe.
Thanks for using the AT&T teleconferencing service.
AT&T, isn't that the company that Zucker is being fired from? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they abruptly ended the conference call when I dialed in, and unfortunately for them, we've been recording for a while. So what else can I say? There's not much else to say. I think my message to you, for those watching the live stream, is get ready, because tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, we're going to start releasing these little tapes, little clips, little audio bits of Zucker, the president. Who else? David Chalian, Vice President.
Stephanie Becker.
what's the name?
Marcus Mabry.
Marcus Mabry. Who's the other man that made the comments about that we recorded about white supremacy?
That was Mez Mabry.
Marcus Mabry made some comments, and we'll be airing those for all to hear and see. And it's important that we hold accountable the mainstream media. The media has to be held to account. They are hurting the American people with their lies, their innuendo, their slander, their defamation, their hyperbole. And I think Mr. Zucker is shaking in his boots right now. I think he's very afraid of what might be coming. So I don't really know what else to say, guys. I mean, content is king. And we were trying to live stream the beginning of the call, but we didn't know when Zucker was going to come in and interject and ask the question. So we just sort of got there. We sort of got in just a nick of time. What else?
More insiders.
Yeah, more insiders.
More insiders. Thank you to the brave insider who supplied us the information for the call. VeritasTips@protonmail.com. Stay tuned. What's the hashtag?
CNN tapes.
Stay tuned. Hashtag CNN tapes. Released today. Multiple installments every day, each day this week. It's going to be great. This is going to be a great thing. It's going to be a great thing for our republic and for our democracy to have the media being held accountable. You need to hold the media to account. Stay tuned. Hashtag CNN tapes tonight, 7 o'clock.
Well, that was interesting. And CNN responded, legal experts say this may be a felony. We referred it to law enforcement.
Yeah, the law enforcement that's literally right across the street from their headquarters. Fucking CNN.
CNN that also said looking at WikiLeaks was a felony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's illegal. It's different for us.
Oh, but hey, the supposed whistleblowers who were tattling on Trump over nothing, that they should be protected. That's different. Looking at his tax records when he was just a citizen, that's fine.
The people trying to get
that's
a
not
book
illegal
deal,
at all.
they got to be protected by the highest order. No expense spared.
They're finding out the truth about CNN and their dirty fucking human sausage. Oh my God, that's a felony.
James O'Keefe is literally involved in actual journalism, and
about the only person that is these days.
I know. Like, it's just disgusting. Like, if the narrative was in their favor, they would be champion, James O'Keefe, like, so hard. They'd be like, oh, look at this warrior out there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's out there infiltrating,
he's out there exposing
these
evil Trump
Trumpist
for the
organizations.
racist bigot that he is.
But they're never legitimate in their
exposing
efforts.
CNN for the scumbag propagandists that they are, and it's like, that's a felony. We must have you arrested.
Let's see what.
You're gonna have to be the next. What's his name? There, WikiLeaks. What's that guy's name again? That poor guy.
Julian Assange.
I still feel bad for that
what's
fucking dude.
What's the verdict? Is he still hiding out in like an embassy or?
Yeah.
No.
I feel like there was some sort of resolution on him.
No, they ejected him after a few months. How long was he in there? It was like months and months. He's in like the Ecuadorian embassy in England. But he's in Sweden now, is he not?
And so Trump just tweeted out from the Washington Examiner a bunch of whistleblowers from the Postal Service were talking about Trump mail undeliverable, 388,000 ballots backdated, another 288,000 ballots disappeared, another 100,000 were improperly backdated.
Yeah, you want to instill voter confidence, and you need to redo the election in person.
Wait,
and
this
for those
is
who
weird.
can't go in person, they need to bring election machines to them. And we got to go back to the old school way of paper.
Huh, that's
No, dude, get rid of the machines. Get rid of the fucking machines and have it all done manually. Every single part of it.
This is ridiculous.
Listen to this.
I'm talking like lever pull, paper punching machines. Sorry.
I'm trying to say important stuff here.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
Listen to this. Listen to this paragraph here. In the most extraordinary report, a U.S. Postal Service contractor said his trailer full of 144,000 to 288,000. Weird numbers there too, but I'm not going to go into that at the moment. Completed mail-in ballots.
That was his estimate?
He said his trailer full of 144,000.
Like, how did he know?
Don't.
Anyway, sorry.
I'm just trying to read the thing.
Go ahead.
His trailer full of 144,000 to 288,000 completed mail-in ballots. Here's where it gets really weird. Which he drove between New York and Pennsylvania. Disappeared after he delivered it to a Lancaster, Pennsylvania depot. Why was he driving it from New York to Pennsylvania?
Exactly.
Another claim that ballots were backdated by postal workers, and in Traverse City, Michigan, Trump campaign mail was put in bins labeled undeliverable bulk business mail, while the same type of mail for Joe Biden was ordered to be delivered on time. Third, raised new issues about the integrity of Dominion voting machines. Claims were unveiled by the...
No evidence, though, right?
There's no evidence.
No, that's what CNN says.
Yeah.
You guys are all crazy.
And when they talk about this, you'll tweet the article and they'll be like, "But where's the evidence?" Like, fucking listen to the goddamn evidence.
Wait, you're tweeting it to people who are illiterate.
Well, it's so
they can't read
depressing.
Past how many characters are you allowed in a tweet? That's their limit right there.
Well,
headlines.
It's depressing to see the people, like, how much power the media has with their gaslighting efforts. Who, like you said, it's like you show them evidence and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, there's no evidence." It's like
exactly. You're literally presenting the evidence to them, and they're saying there's no evidence because CNN said there's no evidence.
Yeah, they're just repeating what the media told them, and they think like, "Oh well, hey, I got the inside scoop here. Okay, I know a little bit more than you do."
There's no evidence of that. I'm showing you the fucking evidence, you idiot. You know.
Where's the evidence? It's right here. I got just a little bit.
Oh, the FBI finally has now requested to look
debunked.
at their data from the.
You know what's funny?
The Amistad Project and Thomas More Society.
Yeah. Let him finish.
Destroy it. Excuse me, John.
Yeah, the Amistad Project of the Thomas More Society retained Matt Brainerd and his team after Election Day to develop data analysis to cultivate his evidence to support election integrity lawsuits in the battleground states. We've learned that Mr. Brainerd was contacted by FBI Special Agent Young O of the FBI Los Angeles field office seeking our data. Mr. Brainerd is cooperating with this request and we fully support him. This data has been used to identify hundreds of thousands of potentially fraudulent ballots in the states where we filed litigation. More about this data will be made available in Matt Brainerd's appearances before a meeting with legislators in Arizona tomorrow. And that was 2 days ago. Okay, so yeah, apparently did that even come out in the fucking Arizona shit?
Hey, can you put the article up that you're reading from?
Yeah, let me see.
I'm just saying, it's funny, because even if you take away all this fucking evidence that supposedly doesn't exist, and you just look at how it played out, if you can't see what the fuck happened that morning and be like, oh, this is some shenanigans, I mean, I don't know, maybe you just never paid attention to an election ever in your fucking life. Like, never in the history of elections has it just been like this steady, gradual incline that's straight up in the air spike.
Yeah,
that
like
never has fucking happened.
A vertical line.
Never has a
millions.
party won so many seats in the House and the Senate, but then the president, the incumbent president, who also record-breaking numbers of voters, more than ever before, and a bigger amount of voters than he got the first time around, and lost. Like, none of this shit adds up outside of the actual fucking evidence. Just the shenanigans that they're, no, this is legit because we hate Trump that much. What?
We were saying that earlier, and it's like, not only did Trump got more voters more votes than any presidential candidate in history, except for allegedly Joe Biden.
Yep.
Who got 6 million more.
And he got more more votes.
Yeah, weird,
like
eh?
11 million more. Any
6
incumbent.
million more.
6 million.
It was
It's
almost like a
really?
vote shower.
I think it's up to.
magic number.
I think it's up to
It's-
8 now. 8
Oh
million.
God. Well, that's what it looks like.
Never
in,
forget the
like,
12 million votes.
Like Venezuela. Like you got an election, and it's like, oh, the other guy is basically gonna win, and all of a sudden, oh, here come like 6 quadrillion votes, so that the current president
In the middle of the night when
Chavez
all the
wins.
counting supposedly stopped.
And it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's legit.
Yeah, they said that too. Like there was places in Michigan that they processed more votes within. I think it was here in Georgia too. More votes within a matter of 3 hours than it's logically able. Than the machines are.
It was in all of
able
them.
to
It was in
actually
Michigan.
do.
It was in Pennsylvania. It was in Georgia. I think
the absentee
Wisconsin.
ballots, which have to be counted by hand, and
Yeah. Oh, how much
it's
you
like-
got by?
yeah,
150.
it's like there's
well,
no-
I
there's
just
no
counted
way-
175,000.
like
so
there's no
there
way
you go.
to count like a million
They were
ballots.
all Biden too.
And
100%.
it's like I saw this tweet from somebody, just whoever the fuck online, who was from some foreign country, and was like, yeah, it looks like America is finally getting the taste of what like all of us people who live in third world countries go through every election. It's like there's really no point in voting because the current powers that be.
Oh baby,
just
shit!
rig
You
it.
don't want to
And
make
it's
me
like-
feel disenfranchised.
I
do
was
you?
like, that was such a depressing thing
It's
to
a
read.
big
I was like,
fucking
oh no, that's what it feels like. Oh, this is terrible.
All right, back to the article here. Project uncovered potential flaws and fraud in ballots. In today's release and in a press conference, group said that whistleblowers found that election officials in mostly Democratic areas manipulated ballots. Yeah, we know all that. Whistleblower accounts released today detail the failure of election officials in blue jurisdictions to maintain ballot chain of custody. Yeah, we know that. Allowing for the potential infusion of fraudulent ballots. Potential, right? These accounts include photographs of individuals improperly accessing voting machines and a detailed eyewitness account of the breaking of sealed boxes of ballot jump drives and commingling of those jump drives with others, said the legal outfit. It added, the accounts also reveal multi-state illegal efforts by U.S. Postal Service workers to influence the election in at least 3 of 6 swing states. Details include potentially hundreds of thousands of completed absentee ballots being transported across 3 straight lines and a trailer filled with ballots disappearing in Pennsylvania. Improving today's whistleblower accounts, the Amistad Project said postal subcontractor Jesse Morgan on October 21st moved the 144,288. All right, we covered that. Postal subcontractor Nathan Peace is told by 2 separate postal workers on 2 separate occasions the U.S. Postal Service in Wisconsin was gathering over 100,000 ballots on the morning of November 4th to backdate the ballot. So, we'd heard about that in Michigan, but not from Wisconsin, right? The backdating ballots. But it's great because it's the same story in all the states.
Yeah, the swing states.
Yeah, and all the ones in question,
All the ones that supposedly tipped it way in Biden's favor in the middle of the night.
This is a big one. Computer expert Gregory Stenstrom of Pennsylvania witnessed a vendor of Dominion machines and local election officials download and update counting machines in violation of election system protocol and the commingling of machine jump drives in violation of election protocols and rendering audits impossible without direct forensic access to the machines. Postal workers in Traverse City, Michigan, Coraopolis, Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania, and Elkins Park, Pennsylvania indicate widespread malfeasance in the Postal Service, including backdating ballots ordering that Trump mail be interdicted to be placed in the undeliverable bulk business mail bin, and emphasizing the Biden mail be delivered on time. But where's the evidence?
Hey, bro, about the whole Dominion, you don't even have to worry about that, okay? Because Pennsylvania was going to have a town hall at Dominion, and they promised they were going to show up, and instead, they packed up and moved away and closed shop, and it's fine though. I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, You don't even need to recount those ballots. We got Shaniqua on the recount, okay, and she knows how to read real well.
Oh, you guys weren't here earlier when I was talking about it, but I was watching the where was it today? Michigan, the Michigan hearing earlier. And the first one I heard, it fucking blew my fucking mind. She was saying that while the all the guys had to they all had to call the Republican. Well, for one, they had the Republicans like you could really spot them because they had their ID badges were really big and said Republican on them, while the others just said election official, and smaller print said that they were like Democrat or whatever.
Hey, don't be racist, you know. I mean, come on.
Right, but yeah, they had really had the Republican watchers monitors marked, and then they were only allowed like a few at a time compared to how many there were and all this shit, and but then they were forced to stay in 6 feet away, and they said, oh, because of social distancing and shit, and they didn't have any access to the ballots and couldn't even hardly see them. But members of the NAACP and the ACLU could just walk up wherever they wanted, and they had fucking access to the ballots and all that shit.
You know, sounds like racism. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there. You just sound a little fucking racist right now. I mean, you all know you want the NAACP, be right there, okay? Who else can we trust if we can't trust them? I mean, really, you know?
Totally.
Guys, am I the only one here that's
racist,
believing this,
yo.
guys? I mean, I'm just saying, like, God.
You be racist, yo. We democracy now.
Yeah, we's democracy and shit. You think I can't count and shit? I's good at counting.
You be counting and shit.
I know my letters and everything.
Be all counting
Damn,
and shit.
you think I can't tell how you spell Biden? It's Trump, Biden, okay?
Oh, Jesus.
I love how they do a recount. They're like, Biden got even more votes. I'm so glad we did this recount. It was just us Democrats in the room yet again. That's yeah, totally legit. It's fine.
It's fine.
And I was like, yeah, you know, we just pulled like 500,000 suspect ballots, and it's literally 500,000 Biden ballots. They're getting pulled. We're not actually putting those. We already recounted those, okay? Like, oh, fuck my life, Shaniqua. Why are you here?
Shaniqua.
How did you get on the election board? What the fuck is going on? I is good and shit.
That is all good and shit.
Whatever. I called my buddy down at the NAACP, okay? Mr. Hyman, he's coming down here. He's going to make sure that y'all just make sure you keep your racist asses away with all your COVID and shit.
Oh, bust your Hyman.
I love that too. Well, you know, the NAACP was run by Jews for like 80 fucking years, right?
Yep.
They only recently gave it up the moment that they finally destroyed whites being able to have white-only businesses.
Actually, that's a good point, because like it really stuck out, the ACLU and NAACP, and when they showed it was all Shaniqua and Tyrone counting all the ballots. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
yeah, and they couldn't even fucking do it right when a white person's like, no, those actually say Trump. It was like, why is this guy standing over my shoulder watching me and shit? Like I can't do my job.
Yeah.
Like
right.
Racism.
Like, I wonder who put these guys in charge for these.
I fucking wonder. What do you think?
On the payroll.
But don't worry about it, guys. The FBI is going to collect all the data, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, okay. I mean, we saw.
I had to be able to finish my sentence.
Oh, sorry. Carry away, man. Sorry.
Well, I was saying, so you see all that, but we know that like the NAACP, the ACLU. The ACLU is basically a fucking offshoot of the ADL, you know. So, but everybody saw that, and on top of all the Black Lives Matter crap from this summer, you know what I mean. So they're really like trying to stoke up the racial aspects of it, you know what I mean. It was no coincidence that all this happened in Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Milwaukee. You know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
those were picked specifically for a reason. And what's the only reason? What do all those cities have in common? It's similar demographics, you know?
Yeah.
So they're really trying to stoke it up as a race war, you know what I mean?
Well, they always have a backup plan, right? Like, they always have somebody to blame and take the heat.
Mm-hmm. Well, you remember there's a whole big thing about the black Hebrew Israelites were attacking them just before all this shit kicked off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were all on kvetching on Twitter about how, oh, we're supposed to be your ally against the evil white man, and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, they're like, all right, well, we're going to sick the evil white man on you then, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know. Of course, it's harder to get us to stir it up because we're not.
Yeah.
You know, we see through their tricks a lot more. Sleepy Lou donated a diamond. Said Keck.
Your evil machinations.
It's been like
Praise Keck.
Chain load of donations tonight.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with them all. I was gonna mention some earlier, and then it was just like boom, 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 boom.
I can't go through all like the one lemon ones. Like that's amazing.
No, that's too much, man.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of ice creams and diamonds and stuff.
Yeah. My Brad Pitt had donated another diamond with no message, so I think he just wanted to get in the top 3, but
Swimming in diamonds. Swimming in diamonds.
I was gonna say, we in the.
He says invest in Lino.
Yeah. Invest in Lino. Not a bad idea.
What is that, crypto?
Yeah, that's the lemons, or the actual cryptocurrency is called Lino. And you can stake some of your earnings or whatever, stake some of your Lino. And then every time, like when somebody gives a diamond that's 100 lemons, I actually only get 750. And then 250 go to the Lino stakeholders. So,
I think it's a pretty good system.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Gets people to buy it.
And I'm back.
What I was gonna say is we and the Jogger Americans are never going to be on the same side per se, but we don't have to be at each other's throats.
Yeah. Some are.
Yeah, that's
some are woke to what's going on.
I mean, and yeah, like mostly like black separatists. Like I'm all about that. Sure, go do your own thing. Yeah. We're totally happy with that. You know what I mean? That's what we want you to do.
Yeah. Left
no,
alone,
you can't have Texas.
Alone,
you got to go back to Africa or something. But like
left
whatever,
alone,
you know?
that would have happened. That would have happened naturally.
Naturally, yeah.
Well, I mean,
it was already happening naturally.
Yeah.
Like.
And every time there was conflict between the two, they want the two groups. They wanted to get further separated.
But it's funny because the conflict wasn't there until a certain group of hand-rubbing, shekel-counting, tiny hat motherfuckers had to create the conflict. Like, it's funny, the story about the whole, like, that bitch with the back of the bus. The fuck was her name?
Yeah.
Rosa Parks.
Right?
Rosa Parks.
And whatever. Anyways, they had their own bus lines. Blacks only buses that black people drove that went to black fucking shops in black neighborhoods, and no, you gotta use the white people buses. You gotta use the white buses. That's what these NAACP people, the Cohens, told them to do. So they go on the white buses, and the white guy's like, no, you can't come on the bus. Oh, what? You gotta let me. All right, well then you go to the back of the bus, and then it became an issue, and it's like that was totally manufactured.
It was manufactured.
They shut down black business to create a problem.
And the funny thing, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was done. I was just saying, it blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind.
The funny thing about Rosa Parks is they had tried that stunt a few times before, and they had used like coal black men, and like no one gave a shit because they were all like, well, hell yeah, they should be at the back of the bus.
Yeah, it had to be an old black woman.
It had to be this mixed race woman.
Well, the whole Rosa Parks thing was like a whole like it was all orchestrated and all kind of bullshit. It wasn't like
100% psyop.
Yeah. It was funny too because I saw something. It was a meme, but it was a bus and it had some advertisement for some Rosa Parks thing on the back of it. So I was like, oh look, she still made it to the back of the bus.
Oh yeah, I think I shared that.
That's the
I
real
shared that in the
fucking irony.
chat.
I used to have to ride the bus in high school, like freshman, sophomore year, because I lived like over a mile away. Anyways, like it was public transit. It wasn't like yellow buses in high school. And I swear to God, man, you got on the fucking bus. They all went to the back of the bus.
Yep.
They all would fucking, like, that was the cool place to sit because they could do whatever the fuck they want, and the bus driver couldn't keep an eye on them.
Ditto.
Way the fuck back there while they
The back of the bus was always the coolest.
But they fought so hard to get to the front. They fought so hard. It's like, really? They fought so hard, and then 20 years later,
and then turn around and go to the
back in the back. And then if you try to sit in the back, they look at you like, you can't be back here. Like, the fuck? It's just crazy.
I
Who
highly
wants to sit in the
recommend.
front of the bus, especially on the school bus? Like I always went to the back of the school bus because
Oh, fucking right.
you want to
Yeah,
be
me
as
too.
far away from the driver so you can get away with as much shit as possible.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
highly
What kind of
recommend.
shit were you trying to get away with on the school bus?
Huh?
I just wanted to be left. I just wanted to be alone.
We would
We
get
wanted
out.
to be
We
able
would,
to
man, in the back of our
Reverse,
school bus was
swear,
wild. Man.
vandalize. Yeah.
Yeah,
Curious
and
to the shit you were trying to get away with on the school bus.
Whatever you wanted to.
What was it, like a
Mostly
20-minute ride at
cursing.
max?
Mostly cursing.
I pissed
in the back,
in
like,
a bottle
shit in
on
the
the school
back,
bus
please.
one time.
You know, trading
You did
cigarettes
what?
and shit.
You knew.
I
You
pissed
knew-
in
you
a
knew
bottle.
where your
I had
life
to
was
piss really
going.
bad on the school bus, and I
You
had
knew-
to piss in the
Oh,
bottle
man.
On the school bus.
We
You knew
get
where your life was going.
we got
Had
like
fights
in
on the
eighth
school
grade.
bus, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
That was Texas.
so
We were.
gross.
Oh, I got my ass kicked on the school bus one time.
By
I
pissing in a
believe
bottle
it
next to
sucked.
somebody, probably.
We didn't chimp out that bad on the school bus when I was a kid because we were white.
We
And
didn't.
Canadian.
We didn't chimp out, but we were because we were white. But like,
Teasing the guys.
but we were Texas, so we got in some fights.
Yeah.
It wasn't like chimp outs. That's a whole different
No,
category
we had
of
that
shit.
too. We had that too.
Oh, Black
Let's
Brad
just-
Pitt. Black Brad Pitt donated another diamond. Said, "There's your shuckles, Mary."
You're sitting next to John. He pulls out his dick and starts peeing in a bottle next to you. You might have a chimp out. I'm just saying. Bro, what the
I was
fuck? You
sitting by
can't wait.
myself.
I
was
bet you
sitting
were.
by myself. Fuck
Everyone's
you.
like,
just wanna say I
"That's the kid that
highly
pisses on the
recommend-
bus. Don't sit next to him."
I highly recommend listening to the song "Ain't I Right" by Marty Robbins
Yeah.
when thinking about the Freedom Riders and the so-called civil rights movement shit. Listen to that song. Listen to the lyrics. There's a guy who was watching it happen in real time, and he's got a pretty good take on it. I wonder why that song wasn't ever released through his record label.
Oh, I'm sure it's not because
Know
Jews
why.
don't own the music industry. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it. It's just coincidental. Coincidental. That's all. Don't worry about that.
Even if they did own the industry back then, they at least took chances. There's so many artists that would never get the time of day from the 60s and 70s that they got back then.
No, and I remember hearing watching an interview with Frank Zappa, and he was talking about that kind of the experimental music days. And
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've seen that. Yeah, he's talking about when he was recording all the crazy Mothers of Invention crap. I'm not a big fan of his music. It's a little too insane for me. I think
like
it's
it.
out
he
there.
was a weird, crazy, one of the most subversive motherfuckers ever.
He was straight edge.
But I like his music.
They were really.
Some of
I
it.
just can't listen to too much
Some
of it. I
of
can't
it's
listen
too
much of it
far
'cause
out, but some of it I like.
Yeah.
He was very not degenerate too. He was very straight edge.
Yeah, but he encouraged
he was-
everybody else to be degenerate.
Yeah,
Very subversive.
Yeah. But he's talking about how when he was recording that shit and the bands that were recording that stuff back in the day, they were old fuddy-duddy record executives and recording engineers and all this, and they were just like, "Oh, we don't know what the fuck you're doing, but I guess if it sells records, go ahead," right? And then he says, as soon as the record industry started hiring the hip, cool guys who knew what, who thought they knew what the kids liked, is when it all went to shit.
Yep.
It was kind of ironic. You get these guys, oh, I know what the kids like. I know how we can, get the cool stuff out. But there's a bunch of people who said, we don't fucking know.
Yeah, like now it's all formulaic. It's all whatever. Certain chord structures you can play like 90% of the songs over. But back then, yeah, like you wouldn't have.
They don't even use chords anymore.
You wouldn't have the Stooges. Like the Iggy and the Stooges were signed to a major label. Like think about that. Like all this fucked up weird shit. Captain Beefheart. The list goes on and on and on. But like you'd never hear that shit today. Like at least back then they were a little more. I don't know. They did care about the money, but they just whatever sold to them. They at least gave people a chance.
There was ironically, there was less engineering going into the actual production of the music. The music and production and that subversiveness was left alone for the artists.
Yep. Yeah, and like the Grateful Dead was the first band that was signed that actually had the full artistic control of their albums and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they were also the first ones to probably say fuck, even though it wasn't the original lyrics. But they were definitely the first ones to have goddamn on a recorded album. So
yeah.
We got 1,000 fucking shekels, guys. Goys.
Nice.
Goys and goils.
Moils and goils.
Once I get back up to 10, I can start
Boys
donating
and burls
back again.
Well,
I'm at 9.1 balance. 9.1 balance right now. When I get that more 0.9 shekel,
we're all
work on this.
I've got
we're all just
0.3.
genderless blobs now. That's what we are. There's no more boys and girls or goys and girls. We're just all genderless blobs of nothingness that melt into the existence.
Amorphous blobs with
That's
OnlyFans.
right. That's how the
Everybody
Canadians
has an
say it.
OnlyFans. Yeah. Every
OnlyFans.
blob has their own OnlyFans. You just kind of
Seriously.
wiggle and jiggle.
Yeah, make a fake account, tell people, check out my OnlyFans. They go there, it's just me giving them the finger. Like, fuck you, you fucking pervert. That's what that's what you should do. Just make an OnlyFans and let them pay for you to tell them what a piece of shit, pervert, scumbag, loser they are.
Like the
I'm gonna make an OnlyFans and just fill it full of wildlife photos of walruses.
Yeah, right.
I think the Marvettes are getting the Only Friends thing going.
Only Friends.
Can't do that. Can't do the OnlyFriends either. Can't. No degeneracy.
Well, no, it was. I think Mazzy started that actually, didn't he?
That was Mazzy who came up with that idea.
This brokini photos.
Brokini.
Scandalous.
Oh, that was horrible. That's a time that I tried to forget. Thanks for bringing it back into my fucking life. Okay.
That was awesome. What are you talking about?
I was scarred for life by the brokini. Were you involved in that too, Bananapepper? Was there brokini photos? There's a few of you fuckers had brokini photos, and I'm just like, this guy.
I mean, I should put a collection.
No, it's all the Euro guys for the most part.
I mean, I should put a collection of Mazzy brokini photos, and next time he comes on, I'll put that as the background to the show.
Put the
all Mazzy brokini.
Oh yeah,
Friends content.
Is Mazzy in the chat?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Dave that started it. That makes sense.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That makes a lot of sense.
I edited on Joe Biden's face onto Mazzy brokini crotch, and everybody complained that Joe Biden would be stiffing the other way, so I had to get a picture of the back of his head and stick it on the crotch.
Yeah,
and then everyone got mad at me.
You guys know what? Joe Biden's not even going to make it to January 1st. Like
Joe who?
He was in the hospital already for like fucking 6 hours. Nobody was allowed to ask any questions. No media was allowed to photograph. Supposedly he broke his ankle, but I know how that would take 6 hours for the supposed incumbent president to have your fucking ankle casted up. My nephew broke his arm.
Yeah.
Oh, holy
It's a hell of a lot
shit.
quicker than
Neon,
6 fucking hours.
Neon Noir just donated a Ninja Guinea. Said, comfy stream. Thank you, Neon
Oh,
Noir.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus,
Holy
wow.
Shiza.
When it rains, it pours, huh?
Thank you.
Fuck.
Right?
God damn.
We have. Like
Is
I
that
said,
is that your first one?
Yep. Yes,
we have the greatest. We have the greatest audience.
We do.
Yeah.
It's
We
cozy.
definitely
Greatest
do.
audience.
It's very cozy.
Like I said last night, I got a call, and then my friend said, "Rage, your audiences are the greatest audiences ever." I just wanted to call you and tell you that.
We are the coziest thing on the internet. So.
Wow, it's quite the claim.
Yeah, but who else could compete?
A cute cat, maybe.
No.
Fuck that. Cute kids got nothing on us.
Yeah.
Cute kittens? I don't
Kittens are great, don't get me wrong, but this is a bunch of
Have a conversation with
appoos.
kittens.
This is a bunch of appoos. Like, that's fucking cozy.
That is cozy.
Doesn't get much
right it
more
is.
cozier than that.
Nope.
It's too bad we don't sound as. It's too bad we don't sound as cute as we look on our hobbies.
That's true.
I don't know.
Like that's Walrus. I'm like, oh really? No offense, you know what I mean, right?
Well, it would be a lot weirder if a guy calling himself Walrus on the internet had this like high-pitched fucking Ben Shapiro voice, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say.
It would be fucking really weird.
What I
Hi,
heard,
I'm
yeah,
Walrus, and I'm Jewish.
yeah. When I heard Jay,
Go
My
ahead.
tusks are killing me.
I was gonna say when I heard Walrus's voice, I was like, "That's fitting. That's perfect." I thought it was like, "Yeah, that fits." I
Yeah.
didn't have an idea what you would have sounded like, but as soon as like you talked and your little Abby comes up, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's it. That's it."
I keep waiting for loud belching noises from him, to be honest.
From me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a big walrus grunt.
That's what we have Johnny for.
I don't know why you guys don't use the Beatles song "I Am the Walrus," then put the Eggman as us.
Because I am not a fan of the Beatles. The Beatles were some
Yeah, the Beatles
subversive
suck.
ass
Beatles
bullshit,
fucking
and they
suck.
suck. I am not named
Well,
after the
person.
song "I Am the Walrus." I am named
Why?
after the Alice
Obviously.
in Wonderland character.
But technically, the song "I'm the
From the
Walrus" is
Carpenter.
also about the Alice in Wonderland character.
Well,
I didn't
not
realize
according to the Paul is Dead. The Paul is Dead movie documentary thing. They said that it was about when Paul died in his crash and the teeth
Supposedly.
went through his lips, and
Supposedly,
he
this
said
is
he looked like a
fact.
walrus. This is it was. I saw it on Netflix. That means it's true.
I don't know what you guys.
That's so fucking weird, though, right? Like, oh well, no, because on the Abbey Road album cover, you know, he has no shoes on, therefore he's dead. Like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Because he's
Yeah,
shoeless crossing the
Dude, what do
street.
you not get about that?
I know everything. Every fucking thing. My spurgy brain ain't connected.
If
Like
only
barefoot on the
living
street,
people
being dead.
wear shoes, bro.
Yeah, and
I know. It's
George is
ridiculous.
dressed up as the groundskeeper.
The
to
Undertaker
bury him.
or something.
Yeah.
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 So,
Hey,
so
you guys-
what particularly don't you like about the Beatles? Is it because they're more poppy or what?
I've just never
Yeah,
been a big
that's
fan
it.
of their music, and
Because they're
then
fucking gay.
They were
Yeah,
the first
okay.
successful boy band. They have to revolt against them. It's a natural
Yeah, but-
inclination.
Well, when you think about Beatles and the Stones, like the Stones were actually like really well-to-do, rich families. Those
yeah,
came
but
out.
I like the Stones' music.
and
They
the
actually
Beatles
made
were
good music.
poor as shit.
I
Oh.
like the Beatles. I like the Stones. I like Pink Floyd. I like Led Zeppelin. But that seems like a fucking psyop in itself too. The whole British invasion
Yeah.
Oh
that
yeah.
happened
Well, yeah.
during the '60s.
Tavistock
I
But
just-
Institute.
hey, I do like the music. I can't fucking help that, you know.
Tavistock
No, what
Institute. I can go into that someday, and I probably will. Actually,
What
because
I'm-
Neon Noir was talking about that. And
Could-
I was like, well, we've kind of touched on it a little bit with when we were talking about like General Patton and the CIA art connection and stuff, the MI6 connections, which connects to Tavistock. and all that. But
Yeah.
we haven't gotten into that quite yet. But
You get a lot of the Aleister Crowley connection to all that '60s rock.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all related.
Yeah.
So we will be covering
Well,
that
Aleister
eventually.
Crowley
It's
said that though, right? He said
you
the
know.
20th century was going to be his century.
Yeah, I can't, condense 25 years of research into 1 hour
that's
show.
why you got me.
Can we get a
Plus,
deep
that
dive
would be
on Fren?
boring just talking about the same shit all the fucking time. So we
I
gotta try to make it
I just
listenable
think it's a
and
little.
loose,
There you go.
so it comes out, But
No, I just think it's a little silly to say like you hate a band or you know what I mean. It doesn't matter what band it is. Like if it's a manufactured band, sure, but it's just like they have some things about them. Just like there's some bands that I don't really like, and there's something they have some value.
Bananapepper confirmed Backstreet Boys fan. You heard it here first.
well, the biggest
No,
thing
no.
about that is just because I'm called the Walrus. So I gotta make a point. No, it has nothing to do with the Beatles.
No,
Yeah,
I
it has
never.
to do with you
I
being a
never.
fat, greedy
I never
bastard
drew that
stuffing your face
connection.
full with all
Anyways,
the oysters.
Yeah.
Eat all the oysters.
no, I never drew a connection between it. I just thought it'd be a neat thing, just from a show perspective, for the song. That's.
On a separate note.
And plus,
oysters
you
are
get a
fucking gross.
copyright strikes on YouTube if I did that.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Plus,
Unless you
our
can
theme
play it
song is
backwards.
awesome. So,
Yes.
What is? You got a theme song?
Yeah.
I always miss it. What the hell is it?
have you not heard our theme song? It's
No, because I always miss
It goes like this.
kind of,
Nice.
But it sounds better.
but it sounds better. Yeah, it's a song called "Gun Toting Rebel Son" by a band called Whiskey Dick.
Alrighty, that's very descriptive. Thank you very much.
Did we get permission from the songwriter to use it?
Too late.
I
I'm
don't
drunk all the time.
Yeah, I don't really need it, but yeah.
Okay.
Someday, if we get really popular, I probably will. Be like, hey, I've been doing this podcast and using you guys as my.
When he
Seriously, though?
looks for his royalty checks.
Seriously though, oysters are fucking disgusting. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying.
One day we'll have
Gross.
One day we'll have Fren Fest, and I'll have them do the music. Them and Rebel Son. How about that?
Fren
That'd be
Fest.
awesome.
All right,
we
just
got
give me the
enough.
chords. I'll
If
jump
we
on
make-
my
if
We
we
got
make
enough
enough
musical
money.
friends. We could probably do our own act.
Right? If we make enough money, I can I'll get Reverend Horton Heat too.
Yeah, I got my
Yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome.
got my electric piano in the other room. Just give me the chords. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I'm actually not
We could
that
get
fat.
a-
I mean, I got a beer yet,
we-
but for a 42-year-old man, that's not too bad.
We could
Definitely
get the
fat.
ghost of Johnny Horton to. I was gonna say we could get the ghost of Johnny Horton to write a folk song about the Friends.
We could maybe
be
get
cozy.
Air Raid to do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
That would be
You
cool.
won't be able to play it. You won't be able to play it on air because there'll be bad words.
Well, we'll do an edited version or something. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
in a
just-
song. I could probably get away with it.
What rhymes with the likes? What rhymes with the likes?
Yikes!
What rhymes with bigger?
Oy vey!
Oh shit! Kind of breaking news, guys. At least I think it's somewhat news. Here, I'm gonna put it in the D-Live chat. But basically, Trump just said he's gonna veto the NDAA because it doesn't repeal Section 230.
Interesting.
What does this? Explain this to me. I'm a Canadian. I'm stupid.
Me too.
The NDAA is.
Mazzy, you better fucking be at Front Fest.
The NDAA is the National Defense Authorization Act. Basically, it's the budget for the military, and it's a whole bunch of other shit. It's like a 1,000-page long bill. It's huge.
Yep.
And Section 230. Well, I look it up, but from my understanding is that it's basically the FCC communication code that says that like these social media companies aren't actually publishers; they're just platforms
Yeah, they're not publishers.
But
They're
they're not
just
supposed to
there
make
offering
editorial decisions
service.
in, which they obviously
Right.
have been
But
doing.
they've been doing
Right.
that for fucking years. So they've
Right.
been doing that since like 2015. But you know, they're not
Yeah.
publishers.
But
So,
they really went all out here recently, where there's no way that they can deny it in any way at all. So it's almost like Trump was like, "Okay, do it, then we'll let you go fucking full on, all out about it, and then I'm gonna fucking pull the rug out from under you." Let me read. I'll read the tweet out loud here from Donald.
So
J.
is he
Trump.
abolishing it or are they amending it?
I don't know. Let me read it. And we'll see.
Okay, go ahead.
Section 230, which is a liability shielding gift from the U.S. to big tech, the only companies in America that have it, corporate welfare, is a serious threat to our national security and election integrity. Our country can never be safe and secure if we allow it to stand. Therefore, if the very dangerous and unfair Section 230 is not completely terminated as part of the National Defense Authorization Act, I will be forced to unequivocally veto the bill when sent to the very beautiful Resolute desk. Take back America now. Thank you. So what does that mean?
Shit fucking a long time ago.
I think he's trying to get rid of 230 completely.
Yeah. Yeah, and since that, like, this is what it means. It means Congress won't get off their fucking fat, lazy asses, their bloviated asses, and do something
And
that they should have did
obvious,
a long.
clear, blatant problem. Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the first time. How many times they have to pull fucking Sugar Tit and that goddamn wannabe Bin Laden into fucking Congress, then hear them say, "Oh, I actually don't know if that. I don't speak on hypotheticals. I don't know what happened there. But let me talk to my lawyer. I gotta refer to like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, you don't know what your home site's doing."
Well,
and
it
how
needs
it's
to be
only doing
amended.
It's very slanted on one side. Get the fuck out of here. They won't do anything about it. Congress refuses to step in and say, okay, we're revoking your 230 status. Instead, they're just like, all right, I guess we're satisfied with these bullshit answers yet again. So now Trump's like, okay, well, if you won't revoke their fucking status, I'll just get rid of the whole fucking bill. How about that?
See, I would say,
solved.
yeah, but that's going to be a problem too, because the way 230 was actually written was supposed to protect publishers and platforms, but
yeah, from lawsuits. It doesn't protect anything. It
no,
literally
that's not even
is
what I was
giving
saying.
them a reason
Let me
to
finish my
hide
sentence.
from this firm. I'm sorry. You pause a lot, and I can't help it. I'm fucking autistic.
Yes, because I make sure that I'm saying exactly what I mean. But so 230, the way it was designed, the biggest thing was about it was so that ISPs can't control the flow of information on the internet. And the idea was that it was supposed to be so people could publish whatever they wanted to. But the big tech giants, specifically Google, I think at the time 230 was written, there weren't such a thing as tech giants. The internet was new and shit, But now Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, all this shit, they're fucking everything up. So what was intended to create open app internet actually been using to protect them from it becoming I've been using it to protect them while they turn it into fucking censorship fest.
No, that's like saying communism, the idea of communism is to protect the little guy from the big fat cat so we can all have a share at the pie. But really what happens is the fat cat gets a bigger share and the little guy starves to death.
Well, here's the problem with it,
let the evil ISP come in. Well, before 230, there was no evil ISP censorship. You were freer on all these fucking platforms. Then once they got this fucking umbrella...
230 existed before these platforms.
I'm going to look into that.
230 was written in like 1996 or something like that. But, the problem with it now, if he completely repeals it, then they'll be able to use it to get rid of BitChute and DLive and fucking stuff like that, because they can be like, oh, this is hateful content, and get rid of it, and it's not not protected.
But they're not getting rid of child porn.
Well, no, they make that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like there's so much shit that they don't get rid of. that actually is fucking hateful and has been. And I don't know. I'm remembering back in 2007 being pretty goddamn free on YouTube and not getting strikes for saying words that are now considered verboten. Can't fucking even hush them out. And I was saying all of them, and it was not a fucking problem. Then it became a fucking issue as soon as it was like, well, we need this protection.
In 2007,
went in there and were like, no, we're not publishers. We're just platforms. We need the protection.
Yeah.
In 2007, Google didn't even own YouTube, but they didn't start really censoring stuff until about 2015, and it didn't get real bad until like 2 years ago.
That's what I mean.
But it started in 2015. But
230 might not originally, if it was written back in the 90s, and it couldn't have been written for the internet. It was written for some other.
No, it was written specifically for the internet because the internet was just getting big then, and they wanted to make sure that it would stay. The intent was to make sure that it stayed open. You know, that you could say, the free flow of ideas and everything, and that's why. They just need to. It would be much better to amend it or rewrite it. Would probably because it's kind of outdated is the problem.
Well, then again, that's going back to the fat, lazy fucking Congress, because they're the only ones that would be able to do either of those things.
Well, because the whole left has been every time you mention about amending or changing. And it's been doing this for years. Every time anybody mentioned about doing something about 230, oh my God, they're trying to fucking censor the internet, blah, blah. We need a free and open internet, blah, 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 blah. When actually they're using it. I mean, okay, so in 2012, that argument actually carried water. In 2020, that argument does not carry any water because they've fucking beaten it to death so fucking hard.
That's what I mean. Like now they tell you, well, if you don't like the way that YouTube's run, you don't like the way that Twitter's run, you don't like the way Google handles. Well, then you just gotta create your own. Oh, just create your own fucking internet while you're at it. So what the fuck is the point then? Like
what they need to do is they need to call the internet a utility.
Yeah, fucking making it free and open.
Because the electric company can't decide, I don't want to give you electricity because I don't like...
Well, from what I understand, in California, the water company can decide who gets water, so...
To a degree, but they can't just cut you off for no water because... Yeah.
They can cut off your water, but they can't turn you down because of your political beliefs to get water.
Yeah, they can't be like, oh, you're a Trump voter, so we're not going to give you water, Or the phone company can't fucking be like, oh, I don't like you talking to that guy over there, so we're going to cut your phone off,
And actually, in California, you can't even be fired for your political beliefs. It's a protected class of, things.
Well, it's very unconstitutional, and the Constitution supersedes that. So.
Yeah. But it would have to be argued in court. And it would probably make it to SCOTUS, and then you get the whole creative interpretations, going back to what I was saying about the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, and gives them
the spirit of my foot up their ass. How about that?
Well, that's probably what needs to happen. But
the spirit of Dr. Scholl's.
Right.
That's right. But the leather of my shoe. How about that? Letter of the law, leather of my shoe. Take that, fuckers. It's so frustrating because it's always based on these great and grand ideas, and somehow it gets perverted and turned into some monster that becomes exactly what it was supposed to stop.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yep.
And I'm sure if I flip over the rock, there's going to be a Cohen underneath it.
Of course.
No offense, Murray.
Oh God!
It's just history repeating itself. That's all.
Yep.
It's the same reason why the U.S. is even a country, because they wanted to get away from that in the first place. And look what it's become now.
Yeah. So I tell you, man, we got to bring back the old school lynchings. gonna fucking just start really going and revolting and grabbing some congressman or woman thing, whatever they call themselves.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Sure, whatever. In Minecraft, whatever. I'm just
In
saying.
Minecraft.
Like, fuck my life, dude. If Chuck Schumer got yoked up, okay, I'm just saying, maybe the rest of them would fall in the fucking line. Probably not. They'd probably start screaming, "It's another shower! Boy, they got one of our own, a super powerful one. Oh, they're coming after all of us."
That's kind of why I like Duterte in the Philippines. You know, like anyone who's corrupt, they'll just hang them or go after them. Yeah, all the other drug dealers and stuff.
Totally
they're just like,
about it.
fuck this. But anyway.
Yeah, right. It's just
There
like,
was
hey,
like
you
a
know,
big
I got this great helicopter. Let's go for a ride.
Because we gotta shut it down soon. But there was actually something really big that I wanted to talk about today that I completely forgot about. And this is fucking huge.
Shame on you.
That there was a guy. Let me see if I can find the thing. Hold on. A minister of European Parliament from Hungary, as a matter of fact, with close ties to Orban, jumped out the window while they were raiding a 25-man orgy, and he was claiming political immunity, and it brought up a whole lot of shit about these supposedly based people. You know what I mean? Because this guy that was he was a member of the European Parliament. Shit, where was it that we were talking about that? Because I was like, oh man, I want to talk about that today.
European Parliament, another feckless group of fucking useless people.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can find something about it. This guy was like really like, oh, I'm going to protect the sanctity of marriage between a man and a woman and all this stuff.
I saw an interesting comment on that. Somebody was going on about him being, he's probably a hypocrite and above blah. And it goes, well, maybe he's gay, but he honestly believes that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Yeah. You know what? I'm all right with that. You
I'm not saying that
marriage, and then go take your 20 dicks in a closet. I don't care what you do in a closet, as long as it's not on a float in front of my kids.
To an extent, I don't care, except for the fact that they end up being destructive. But yeah, I mean, that's probably not the case, but
here, I found it. Let me go through this article real quick because it was really. Maybe I should save it for tomorrow because it'll actually be a long conversation. Because I want to talk about.
Just touch on it.
A lot of. Yeah, I mean, I'll give the.
That sounded so gay.
I'll give the TLDR on it, and then we can really get more into it tomorrow. But this Josef Sager, who was a ally of Prime Minister Viktor Orban, very strongly anti-gay Hungarian politician, he resigned after being caught by the police fleeing a 25-man orgy through a window.
Jesus.
Police found Sager and 24 other naked men at the gathering. Sager played a key role in Orban's government's crackdown on LGBTQ rights in Hungary. He resigned from his position in Brussels after he got caught at the orgy on Friday. He resigned on Sunday after he admitted to breaching Belgium's strict lockdown rules to attend a sex party. The police found 25 naked men at the gathering. The newspaper quoted a local police source as saying, "We interrupted a gangbang." Orban's Hungarian government has curtailed LGBTQ rights, which I am all about. So
we interrupted the sausage fest.
Sager, who fronted Fidesz in the European Parliament, helped rewrite Hungary's constitution to protect the institution of marriage as a union of a man and a woman.
Makes sense.
Sager, a right-wing politician and ally of Orban, climbed out of a first-floor window and was spotted fleeing along the gutter. Authorities said narcotics were found in Sager's bag. Sager insisted that he had not taken drugs. Passerby reported to the police that the man's hands were bloody. It is possible that he may have been injured while fleeing. Narcotics were found in his backpack. The man was unable to produce any identity documents. He was escorted to his place of residence where he identified himself by means of a diplomatic passport. He said he was present at a private party and apologized. After the police asked for my identity, since I did not have an ID on me, I declared that I was an MEP. Police continued the process and finally issued an official verbal warning and transported me home. He announced his resignation and asked people to treat the matter as strictly personal to him. I asked everyone not to extend it to my homeland or to my political community. So,
and
Your
this
TLDR?
This guy was an Orban.
That was a TLDR.
I gotta be honest though, like I can see why he is all about protecting the sanctity of marriage. It's weird that gays are like, no, we should be able to get married, but you want to have orgies with like 50 dicks flying at your face. That's kind of contradictive to the sanctity of marriage between two fucking people.
Well, yeah, who was the really anti-gay guy in America that got caught in the
Falwell?
The bathroom.
The bathroom,
Yeah, I forget the name. No, it was somebody else.
George Michael.
Larry Craig.
He
no,
was
some like preacher guy. Yeah, he was like completely.
Well, I thought it was Jerry
guy.
Falwell.
It was Larry Craig.
Larry Craig.
He was a senator from Idaho.
Conversion wasn't working.
Idaho, and he was in a sex scandal.
Oh, he was converting in the fucking glory hole.
Yeah, right. And I was like, I didn't take any drugs. I mean, I shoved them up my ass, but I literally didn't take any drugs. That doesn't count, right?
He was just holding them for a friend, just like when he was holding some stuff for a friend at the party.
Holding it in his ass.
Oh, they literally do. Like, there's certain drugs, I forget what they are. They fucking put them on their butts and to numb it for their 25 dick orgies, you know?
Jesus.
I forget the poppers, uppers, down. I don't fucking know. Something.
You seem to know an awful lot about this.
Wow, you're pretty informative about that.
Well, you know, I hung out with a few homos back in the day. And they let me know the degenerate shit they would do. And it'd be like, wow, that's kind of fucked up. But, you know. Still, that's one thing I say. Any of the homos I did know, still, they would all say the same thing, the gay marriage thing. They're just like, why? Why would we want to ruin our party? It's literally a fucking party for them.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I'm going to post this in the chat. So there's actually, because I know that you can put meth in your ass. I forget who, but somebody like recently died of this.
Boofing it.
because it bypasses the, it's called like the hepatic portal in your liver. So you get like a much better high. But I looked up, I Googled, I probably shouldn't have Googled this directly, but I Googled meth in ass.
Google algorithms right now is going crazy on you.
The first thing to pop up was this thing from the San Francisco AIDS Foundation called "How to Booty Bump Better."
Oh, I ain't clicking that shit, nigga.
Murray, just let me know what kind of ads are going to show up in your future. Tomorrow, I want to hear what ads show up on the side.
What
ads show up in F in the chat for.
You're gonna get
Murray's ads.
He's gonna get grinder advertisements and shit.
Shit for like AIDS pills. Do you have HIV?
I ain't clicking that shit.
the author is Jeremy Prowitz.
Why don't you say it's just the author is some cocksucker? It's some cocksucker.
Some Jew, likely. Prowitz.
Some small hat.
Now you are gonna make me click that shit. Hold on.
Ah!
This guy's definitely chosen. Like Jeremy Prowitz.
I'm not
Prowitz.
I did remember hearing something like a few years ago. People were talking about like taking alcohol in the ass. And I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't like to drink liquor as it is, but I sure as shit ain't gonna fucking shove it up my ass. What the hell's going on here? They're like,
Well,
oh, get you way drunk.
It all bypasses your liver. That's all.
Yeah, I don't need to bypass my liver. Like, what the hell
Yeah,
do
you
need
can
to
fucking
be on?
kill yourself doing that too.
No, I know. That's why.
Shoving alcohol up your ass, yeah.
We should change the subject from ass.
Too late. It's too late. We're already there.
What are the F's in the chat for here?
They're for Murray's.
My ads.
Yeah, Murray's ads. You're fucking degenerate. He's so degenerate.
Time to get an ad blocker.
If you have a girlfriend, you might want to get that off your deleted off your computer mighty fast before she accidentally looks at that.
No, I'm gonna.
No, we were just talking about that in the live stream, and I swear to God, that's all it was.
Yeah, for some
It was
reason
research.
I just had to Google it. I had to Google
It
meth
was
in the asshole.
research.
Like when I had Walrus penis on the
God.
So what you're saying is that tentacle porn thing might have actually been research.
No, because he was like,
that's right. You researched that with your children.
With my kids.
Me and my kids wanted to research tentacle porn together. Yeah, that's what we did. And then I got a severe case of seizures, and I don't
bro,
remember
you're
what
not
happened.
helping your case.
Bro, that guy went to jail.
Good.
Yeah.
No, not the Jew. John Rangello, the guy that sent him the GIF.
Oh yeah, that guy went to jail.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
fucking.
He got
That
put up
is
on
some
like
Jewy
fucking
shit
federal
right there.
charges. Yeah. It was
How are you gonna
really
get
bad.
fucking put up on federal like you would know if somebody's got like fucking epilepsy? And who's the retard epileptic that keeps looking at something until they have a fucking seizure?
Well, there's that, and the fact that he didn't have a seizure.
Yeah. Because he said they were trying to give him a seizure, so the
I'll try to
intent
give him
was.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the intent behind him watching the tentacle porn with his fucking children? That's the intent I want to know about. That was research, I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we were sitting around with the family, thought we watched some hentai, you know. Make some popcorn.
Make some calamari, watch some tentacle porn. It's a good time.
Eat some fried calamari. Watch some tentacle porn.
What a strange world we live in.
It's fucking atrocious. It's a horrid world. I mean, I like the world. It's beautiful when I go out in nature, away from all this garbage. Like tonight, the moon, fucking magnificent.
Yeah.
It was super golden, and it was just giant. It was so fucking huge. I'm like, oh man, that's beautiful. And I come back here and we start talking about shoving meth in the asshole and tentacle porn and fucking Jewy shit. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Also,
back in the nightmare again.
We broke 2,000 lemons.
We did. I see that. That's
Holy
fucking awesome.
Is that your first time?
Yeah.
Jacob has them all. All his. He'll forget to share them. That'll be it. Look at him laughing. He knows. He's like, yeah, I already forgot.
Rubbing my hands as we speak.
Just like the greedy fucking walrus. 2,000 lemons might as well be 2,000 oysters, and we're the starving carpenters. This fat ass is gonna eat them all on us.
Are you getting it? Like, does that even like make a dent on what it costs to run this yet?
It's like $25.
Yeah, it's like 25 bucks. So yeah, it makes a dent.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Right on.
I thought it took like $1 million before you got like $10.
I might actually be able to.
No, it's 7,888 is like $99.50 something cents or something like that.
You know, Murray, you're starting to really
the smallest
live up to that
one.
last name.
The smallest one. You can withdraw like $50, I think, if you get like 4,000 something. So.
Oh. Well, guys, this was fun for me. I'm sorry that my spurginess interrupted you, Jacob. I really don't mean to, but you know, I wasn't reading the article with you, and you pause, and then I think you're done, and you're not, and you're like, wait a minute. And then John screams at me, and I'm like, oh, fuck my life. But look, I'm gonna definitely try to join tomorrow because you know I gotta get into this fucking gay orgy shit. That's really fun.
Well, I'm not gonna go too much deeply into the gay orgy. It's just the fact that it happened was enough for me.
TLDR, buddy.
But I do want to talk about how some of these supposed, because it kind of touches on what I've been talking about: Trump the symbol, Trump the man. So like, this, you know, these are supposed to be these fucking hard right fucking figures and shit and based hungry, right? And then there's this guy in a gay orgy. You know
Well, it
what I mean?
wasn't. It wasn't Orban. It was just some dude.
No, it
who
wasn't
works for
Orban,
him.
but this guy is.
It's not like Orban goes home
really
with him and
out
sees all
there.
the homo shit in his closet, you know.
Ernst Rum was a real pervert. If you know who that was.
Yeah. Head of the essay. But also, Orban has Jewish connections. He was basically put into power with the help of Jewish political advisors.
Well, you kind of have to be nowadays. You got to use them to get there, and then once you're there, you got to be like, eh, fuck you, I tricked you. Be everything you don't want me to be. But, you know, whatever. Anyways, I got to say goodnight to you guys because we got to go to bed.
Once I get D-Live partner.
Good night, fellas.
We're almost
We'll
at
see you guys
400
tomorrow.
followers, so I need 1,000 followers and 20 subscribers to apply for
you'll
a
get
partner.
there.
Yeah, I'll get there
You'll get
probably
there.
pretty quick.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
But then I can,
Take it easy.
because they were talking about
Have a good
stickers
night.
in the chat. But then I can put like 20 channel stickers, so then can add my own stickers. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, well I guess it should probably call it because it's almost 5:30 a.m. here again. So
yeah.
But thank you
Good one
all
tonight.
for showing up. We
All right.
had an
Take it
awesome
easy, gentlemen.
fucking stream
Have a
tonight.
good one.
99.
And
Yeah.
we will be
Thanks for
back.
having us as always.
The
All right, take care, everyone.
same friend time, the same friend channel. So, good night, everybody.
Didn't say it.
Huh? Say what?
Read the chat. Read the chat.
But in space.
See it.
Don't forget about the chest.
Oh, the chest. Yes, before we go.
You got to reward the loyal
I hope
listeners.
For sure.
And me.
I hope it wins.
I'm gonna drop.
I need my 0.9. I need my 0.9 shadows.
I'm gonna drop. I'll drop 100 in here. Cause why not? Right. I'm gonna open the chest. Shekels incoming.
Chesticles.
All right, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. And big winner is Hey Joggers with 40.9. Donkashay with 23.9. Murray got 17.5. Tuber got 14.1. And Otterframe got 12.0. So, she beat Brad. I don't think Brad clicked the button. Well, all right, folks. We will see y'all tomorrow. And have a good night.
Shit.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night, guys. My D-Live was so delayed I didn't even see the.
The button?
Oh, yeah. I wanted my 0.9 so I could donate an ice cream back. Yeah, but.
Yeah, there's
We'll
always
get it.
tomorrow.
Hmm.
Not stopping
All right,
anytime
man.
soon. All right, y'all.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night.
Well, I wake up early in the morning, you see. Lord knows it's Texas won't let me in. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. But my heart it sure ain't pumping like it used to do. Lord knows I bump a leg and it turns black and blue. Yes, it does. Now they say that it's unhealthy the way that I live. My liver's gone, my lungs are shot, my heart's about to give. But I ain't gonna let that bother me, no. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna let that bother me, no, Lord. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. Ain't gonna be here long. No, not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son.